Futures back in negative territory here to start things off this morning. We are, however, heading back to the upside. Just getting some retail sales data coming across here this morning. We'll have a look. Negative 0.9 for May retail sales versus negative 0.7% expected there. Export prices as well coming through for May. Same story, negative 0.9% versus a positive 0.1% print expected. Import comes in dead flat versus a positive 0.1% print expected there as well. Export and import prices year over year, 1.7 to the upside on the export side. Not surprising, 0.2% to the upside on the import side. That's really it as far as the economic story goes this morning. We are going to get manufacturing production and business inventories coming up at 9:15. And then 10 o'clock, the other one we have to keep an eye out for this morning. That's how the Nasdaq is setting up so far this morning. All eyes on the Middle East, rising tensions over in the Middle East continuing to drive the storyline. There is a very negative storyline as well in the solar area. That's FSLR right now off a cliff here this morning, down 17% as this tax bill is going to cut some funding to that sector and that group. Other stocks to consider here this morning. Tesla moving around as well. Back downside right now. It was bouncing though early on. We'll touch on why coming up here. The chips in play here, it looked like a little bit anyways this morning. NVIDIA trying to get back higher as we get some sort of calm, possibly. What a wild day it was yesterday, though. So many things on the global standpoint to consider this morning. Absolutely. Individual stocks as well moving on that.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about, Brendo. Microsoft and OpenAI apparently possibly at odds with one another now as they look to compete. So we'll keep an eye out on that. Microsoft just about negative on the day. As you mentioned, I got that TAN ETF there, TAN, down over 10% on the back that the Senate is going to be basically adopting the House resolution in the big, beautiful bill to cut a lot of these green energy or New Deal sort of subsidies that had been kind of present under the Biden administration. We'll talk about Palantir as well. OpenAI getting a $200 million defense contract, so that should be interesting there. Apple also in focus as well, Brendo, as they face yet another antitrust lawsuit, and SoftBank unloading quite a bit of T-Mobile U.S. shares.
Yeah, here's AMD as well, another one popping up, 2.5% already. This AWS story continuing here for AMD, 2.5 was a little bit of hesitation right at 128, getting through that high I saw a little bit early on, but we'll keep an eye on that as well. Oil back to the upside as well here this morning, 2% plus already across the board. Energy stocks back higher again, all tied to the Middle East, guys.
Yeah. So yeah, it's not looking very good for de-escalation at this point, unfortunately, and you know that's going to be weighing on the market to a certain extent. But you know what? The Nasdaq's only down 0.5%, everybody. So good morning. It's not really that bad unless you're looking at the solar names, as Sharif mentioned. He mentioned First Solar. Sunrun's down 36%. So yeah, they're taking it on the chin just a little bit here, but that's okay. The chips are strong. AMD's still strong. NVIDIA, well, was strong, a little bit stronger than it was a minute ago. Up in a down market, but AMD up 2.5 percentage points. That still looks pretty good. Palantir is a defense name and a growth name, so I think that bodes well for it. That's why it's going to be up to 1%. It's not, and I know sometimes you read the headlines and the thinking could be that you come in and the market's going to be down 2 points. That's just not how it is. You got to pick the weakness and find something that's weak and maybe gravitate towards that if you're really feeling the shorts, and the trend is going to be your friend. At the end of the day, when we look up, we are not looking too far away from the all-time high, despite all this headline risk we have. Now, we're probably not this, the move in oil and what's happening now is certainly going to mean no change tomorrow from the Fed, but I think we were expecting a little bit of that anyway. So yeah, just don't go all doom and gloom over the headlines, but understand that we are still going to be able to move based on headlines, but only 0.5% down, I'd say, is pretty okay, given all the negativity we're seeing.
Yeah, I don't even really see that many negative headlines. I mean, they go back to 1986, 78% of the time after a major world event like this, the market is up in the next month. So I don't fear any of that. Obviously, if it gets a lot worse, we'll be talking about everything. And hey, Randy, what's up?
Hello.
I don't know if you guys remember yesterday's trade there, but we had this whole move on AMD. So there's the move yesterday, Randy, that we had. You know, we bought it at 118, we bought it at 120, and then boom, goes the dynamite right there to the upside. No stopping AMD yesterday and no stopping AMD again here today. So this will be on my mind there, a 128 long if we're lucky enough to get that there on AMD. And then of course today, Tesla opens up underneath underneath 330. So we're looking short on Tesla here as we worry about deliveries. They worry about, Wells Fargo has a note out about their free cash flow. So we're going to find out cash flow, what's going on with Tesla today as it's looking a little bit down. And then your name wouldn't be Rivian Randy without a look at Rivian, down to 1350. So we had a huge move up. What a disappointing fade, really. I mean, we were just up here again to this $17, $18 mark about a month ago, and now you're coming right back into the 50-period moving average, getting interesting here for some levels to possibly buy. But we just had a bad retail number come through there and started the Nasdaq a little bit to the downside right there. Core retail sales minus 0.3. So, Randy, you got to go out there and buy some more products. Retail down versus plus 2. Sorry, expected. So, you know, that sent the market to the downside a little bit here. We're going to be covering all of this for you as we go. There's the move down. The market was actually pretty healthy coming into that number. We had made some lows off the bottom. Europe opened up down. Many European markets between 0.5 and 1% to the downside, so that's not great. But yeah, right now you're back into the 50 period. The market was open right here. I think these would be buy levels against VWAP right now, but let's let it all settle down. We have the market on open imbalances coming through. And then, of course, like I was just saying, advanced micro devices, man. I don't know how, like it's right here, 120 long yesterday. I ran into Obi. He was like, wow, like, you know, I couldn't believe that move, and I couldn't believe it yesterday either. So what was a real strong move yesterday, man, we had that whole thing. We'll see if we can get some of it again here today on advanced micro devices. Keep trading the strong names, up another 2%. And then yesterday's other banger, I only traded 3 names yesterday, Robinhood, Palantir, and AMD. And yesterday's Palantir trade was 140, and it looked very similar right there. There's the 140, boom. We had this move as well on PLTR. So it's, and we just did a little thing with Finico Bank, and it's all about trading the right names at the right time. And yesterday we nailed it with Palantir and with AMD. Let's see if we can do it again. Working on the note, should be out very shortly. Yeah, some interesting names going to be on there. And then I just wanted everyone to, I was looking at that TAN ETF. Obviously there's bad news here today, and it's not going to be, you know, that well received, down 10%, right? But I guess they were thinking that maybe this wasn't going to be in the build. Like, it just had a huge move up. So I was just going to say, like, you know, this is just the froth sort of coming off of many of these solar names. But this move looks like it could extend even more. Like bouncing off that 200 period, seeing it, rejecting it on pretty heavy news right now. So this TAN ETF, definitely here at 3150, looks pretty vulnerable today. You look at Solar Run, Solar Edge as well, SEDG, another name that's down and lost its way today. SEDG, not Q, right here. So this is another move that's happening. Again, 1 million shares, down 31% right here for Solar Edge. And look where it's fallen right back into again, right back into the 50 period and the 200 period moving average. So we've had huge runs in solar, and it's just coming right back in. We know the sort of direction of this. Solar's just, I don't know if it's just not powerful enough yet. You know, to really power the things that it needs to. And then with interest rates staying where they are, you know, it's hard to keep funding operations, borrowing money, and then getting retail to actually put money into this, putting panels up in your business, into your house, so on and so forth. It's just expensive to do that. So Solar Edge, still the downside. But if you are going to trade anything long, you always want to look at what I always thought was best to breed, and maybe this is wrong, but First Solar down half what everything else is down. So yeah, some good opportunities possibly in the swing side of things here for some of these names if you do believe it's a little oversold, because you're at great levels on all of these, man. First Solar here at 140, how good does that look? So yeah, it should be an interesting one. Randy brings the bananas, which is nice. So we've got that going on here.
And Kelvington? It's not Kelvington, because it's Kelving TS. I don't know how I'm supposed to pronounce that, but thank you for the super chat anyways, brother. Appreciate you. What do we think about Circle, CRCL? Well, I can tell you that it's a little frothy. It's a little frothy up here, and Circle, it did do that pullback off 165. You see the trend reversal that happened in yesterday's trade. This is probably a missed opportunity, but at the end of the day, it just gaps right back up as if nothing happened. Now, a lot of times, look, you don't really have a lot of data to work into here on a daily chart of any kind of an IPO, but the first thing I always consider is, okay, well, what's the prior high? If we're working back into something, like when it had 2 red days in a row, which it did do, believe it or not, you actually pull back into the opening day's high, which is about 103, or the 100 level into 103, and that's where it bounced. And then it ended up holding support. That's the high of the first day, and then it turned into the immediate support. So the high right now of the prior move was like 139, 138, 139. That's where I'm looking back toward if we get any continuation as a dip buy area. And it's not on a stock like this. It's like you don't just like fire an order at that even dollar price thinking that's going to hold. It's going to be more of a price area because you could look at the 15-minute chart and see all the way down to maybe 133. Like anywhere in that range is where I'm anticipating any kind of a down move gets us to. On Circle, just play the stair-step game for myself on CRCL. Ooh. Already the reload too?
Yeah, thanks, Randy.
Get the service
Randy's
this morning. Oh yeah, appreciate it, Randy.
Randy knows it was an early morning here. So
yeah.
Nasdaq all the way back again to retail sales high, I guess. Oh, pre-retail sales. So there it is right there. Nice move back up to the upside. Nasdaq goes green today is what I'm thinking. So we're going to be looking for some longs right here. What's up, Healing Pain Naturally, BBAI, eh? All right. I have actually BBAI on the sticky note today, so I'm going to save that for some more discussions. But here comes BBAI looking to bounce off of $4 again. So a nice move yesterday in this name. I think it wound up about that 10% or so yesterday. Big Bear AI goes 380 to 4 and change. So yeah, about, I don't know, maybe it was a little bit under 10% yesterday, but looking okay here for Big Bear AI today. Let's see if we can get above this 420 marker here one more time on Big Bear AI. Is Andre talking to me? No, to Ramin. Okay, good. He's just pointing everywhere.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, am I going this way or that way? Because actually, I'm not even sure if I'm still connected. Oh, yeah, that's right. No, I heard Brendan and Sheree. So, all right, so Big Bear AI on watch today. Obviously, we talk about Palantir all the time. That's starting to move again here in the pre-market. So a couple names that are up, a couple names that are down, like a Tesla. And then I want to look also at Amazon yesterday. In the last couple of days, pretty interesting levels here for AMZN, looking to see if it wants to break through. It seems like it is having a little bit of a problem up here in and around 216, 217. So we'll see if we can break those levels. There it was yesterday, 217. We did get as high as 219 there, but then we've been fading off a little bit. I thought we would have got a little bit more reaction on some of those stablecoin talk there for an Amazon and a Walmart, but for right now, I wish we were setting up more long on this. The other name that really hasn't gone back to its all-time highs, Microsoft's there, Meta's there. It's Apple and Google are the ones that aren't quite there. But Google's chart looks much better than Apple, and we're getting closer to get back. I mean, we're not that far away, right? You're about 15% or so away from the highs here on Google. You're above the 200 period moving average. This is looking pretty good. But again, another red name here today, Google. So it looks like the chip names will be spicy and some of the others not. Apple's still under 200 there. So this is a name that as long as we're under 200, we're looking to fade it. It was the key yesterday. It unlocked, this AMD key level of 120, man. I mean, we put the key in and unlocked a monster yesterday. So let's see if we can do it again here. Maybe 130 is that key today for AMD, but I know that Apple 200 is a very, very interesting level there as well. And then Netflix is approaching huge levels as well, breaking through 1,200. I think the price target on this thing, 1,300. I think we can get back up there, break through this 1,250. Let's see if Netflix can hold itself today. But again, NASDAQ down a little bit, looking for names that are doing some volume. Let's wait to see what winds up happening here. AMD will get a market correction. I mean, I am waiting for a fade. I don't necessarily want to punch the tops here on AMD. Look, we called yesterday's move, but we didn't think it was going to go up $10. So I don't, it was just an upgrade. And then they were talking about news that was released last week. So Not too sure. Reddit's a good name. I see someone in the chat. We talked about that yesterday. As was ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever was getting a lot of their answers from Reddit, and I think that's right until it's wrong, and that's the problem with all of these things. Eventually, everything's going to be AI, and you're not going to be able to trust anything. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting for now. I think they got to figure all this out. Yeah, because you just ask Gemini something and you just trust that it's right. Well, if they're pulling all their information from Reddit, I mean, you can post whatever you want on Reddit.
I think you got to know where, know what it is that you're asking to get the sources that you want. Is the way to use AI has to be more nuanced for a lot of people. Like, I know, get the right prompts to make sure that you're getting the right answers, certainly. But Reddit, before we go in, now we have our guest, Mitch is locked and loaded and ready to go. Reddit closing above that 200-period moving average. That's been a good one. Stocks that close above the 200-period moving average and now holding out above, it's a super strong one. Well, it's relatively strong compared to the markets. I don't want to call 4% super strong, but it is very strong. So I think that 200-period moving average acts as your potential support today as well as yesterday's highs. Let's go to the desk. I believe we've got Mitch.
Real quick before we get to Mitch, just wanted to recap here. A couple of people mentioning this. Retail sales, again, the year-over-year number, quite a wide miss here, 3.3%. For May versus 4.9 expected there. The month-over-month negative, 2 months in a row here, negative 0.9% on both sides versus negative 0.4 expected. If you go over to XRT, not a lot of volume here, but down significantly on that for retail stocks as well. So a few people talking about that retail number coming in definitely lower than expected. Yeah, AMD still doing pretty impressive here so far this morning. Let's bring in Mitch Hoke over at Trade the Pool for our weekly discussion. Mitch, good to see you as always. So much to jump right into. Let's. I want to go to Tesla first because there's you brought a long list today, my friend.
I always have a good long list of winners, of course.
What are you seeing in Tesla here to lead us off?
All right. Well, this is all about having to do with the situation that happened, right? We all know that Elon Musk, the Elon Musk put is on, right? He kind of got a little soft on his stance on the tax bill and no longer battling the president on that action. So I think in this case, this was all about one thing. It was about robo-taxi coming up because he knew that the one thing that could really get him into trouble here, especially at Tesla, is that if Trump started to battle back the robo-taxi and FSD action. So I think this is actually leaving the run here for the event. Of course, pushed back to June 22nd. We got a couple of days here before the event. This could be easily the time to run Tesla, of course. And I'm not going to be trading this at the event. This is a buy the rumor, sell the news event, right? So we'll be watching to see what happens here. But I think Tesla could get going here and could just start to rip back higher, especially now that, you have some people on both sides that hate it, Republicans, Democrats. Well, now's the time to stuff them all. We'll look to see if we get a run to 350. And then maybe even before the event or towards the event, I look for this stock to be closer to 400. So we'll see what happens there in Tesla. Of course, the market needs to continue on its trend. So keep watching that. But if we are on this all-time high push, well, look for Tesla also to take part.
When it comes to the technical standpoint of that, I zoomed out there to a 15-minute chart as we were seeing top end of the range over the past couple of days here. Is that the type of idea where you're actually waiting for the breakout before you get involved?
Yeah, I look for a lot of the times when I'm looking at flag patterns and pennant patterns, I'm looking for what I call the rule of three. So give me 3 waves of resistance tests, 3 waves of support tests, and as we go for that 4th wave, I look for the breakout. So you see in Tesla in the hourly or the 15, you can see how recently we've made a couple of moves up. We've already done 2 or 3 times for the resistance. I think if we can go to 330 today, reload somewhere in the 325s, really make a move to 340s. That's your breakout above the 335 level that could really start to get this going. Another thing that you want to be seeing is as long as there's no comment from Trump about Elon negatively, that is still leaving the door open for the robo-taxis. There's a lot of rumors out there that the robo-taxis have been struggling and things like that, and that's why it got pushed back. But we know how Elon works. He's all about the hype words, and he's all about his events. So get ready. He's going to be pushing. And
he's also all about getting it right, I think, at the end of the day. So even if it is delayed, it's typically done right at the end when all is said and done. Let's go to AMD. Monster day yesterday for AMD. Here we go again.
Who was talking AMD last week? Who was talking about that? I don't know. That guy Money Mitch, where is he at, man? I've never heard that guy. Nah, and it was all about the new products that you're going to hear talked about when? Today. Now that the stock's up a lot higher, right? You'll turn on CNBC, they'll all be talking about the new AI products and how the GPUs are expected to rebound. But of course, what's another thing that's weighing in here? It's the export-related charges, right? 800 million is expected to be resolved here before the rebound. So I think that is also helping drive the bottom line here. AMD was one of the most focused stocks at the beginning of the year. Everyone thought this was the year for AMD. It kept going down. It broke those bulls for a while, and now you've been seeing it since pretty much the turnaround on AMD. I think you still kind of look at that action, and you can see how it's just really gotten all the moving averages now down below. You've broken out above that 125. I think the next stop you look for a nice little push to 131. So I think that's what we can be looking for maybe on even a day like today. And then we got to be watching for a little bit pullbacks. Pullbacks to the 9 EMA like we just recently got are moments where we can join the party if we haven't already gotten in. So I know last week someone even in the chat was like, AMD here, but no, I can't get it. That's too far gone. Well, look for those moving average pullbacks. Look at the gift that we got on Friday. Nice undercut of the 9. Then yesterday, we ripped not only back to the resistance, but above that resistance going higher.
On heavy volume as well. Let's, with all things considered, over in the Middle East, you know, a lot of geopolitical issues to deal with there still, and tensions continuing to rise, it would seem. One of the spaces that we can look at for maybe opportunities, some of the aerospace, some of the drone type names. You brought a couple here. RCAT. This is the type of name that tends to pop up every once in a while anyway, but what are you seeing?
Yeah, we brought this name when we were starting to break 7. So those are the things that I like to tell you guys. And the reason why I like to tell you guys, I'm not trying to cherry pick on these trends. I'm trying to stay on the winners. This is a stock picker's environment right now, and you have to find the winners, especially charts like this that were sideways looking for a catalyst, got the Russian-Ukraine comments about drones, then more support by Trump and further support by Trump about drone battling. I think you got to continue to watch this, guys. And of course, what are we going to hear about in the situation, in the conflict right now? More drone usage. That's the way the military is going. Of course, RCAT has military drones. And then UMAC is the other name that's been kind of getting the lift. That one actually had a better breakout yesterday than RCAT. So I'd continue to watch to see maybe RCAT plays a little catch up today to UMAC. UMAC maybe a pullback closer to 10. I'd be looking for maybe an inside day after that ripped a little bit higher. But all these names are in play. Of course, some people were looking at the air mobility names like Archer and Joby. I would push those to the side. I'd stay more with military drone focus. Of course, Trump's son on UMAC is also a big plus, right? He's on the board. So that's why people are playing UMAC over RCAT. But I think personally, the product-wise, RCAT's the better product. But hey, doesn't mean you can't trade them both.
Another name that was a big one around here yesterday, Robinhood, was up on a couple of different headlines yesterday. Here we go again. We're trying to crawl our way back up to where this ended yesterday, back above 76.50 here. What are you thinking with Hood today?
Yeah, I think Hood's just on a continued breakout, and I think you ride the momentum, right? There's two ways of playing this. There's either playing the high of the day breakouts on this, and you're just riding the scalping kind of look on that, or you can maybe start to play a little catch up with coin. I think this has been stuck in a nice flag pattern right here, and I look for both of these to run side by side. So now that coin's going towards the resistance, let's see if coin makes the move above 260 towards 270, with Hood making a new high of the day. That's how I always like to look at it. Sometimes I can't play the leader, but I can play the laggard play. The laggard play here would be coin, and the leader here, Hood, taking off.
All right, Mitch, where are you at on this leaderboard here, the one for all over at Trade the Pool?
This was a hard one yesterday, man. I got to say, my measly 25,000 is not going to do it, guys. Not going to do it. There's somebody here that made over $500,000. Of course, the buying power is $1 million, but to make 50% on an account like that in just one day, I mean, that is absolutely insane for the competition, guys. So come and join us. Multiple traders trading SRM, RGC, and making over 300,000. A couple of traders. We'll keep trading this live here on our show, of course. And hey, that's what it's all about. It's all about opportunities, learning about how you could trade with this account. Of course, this is a little bit of extreme situation, but this is the all-for-one competition, guys. And we're all trading together to beat the Qs here. And I think we're going to be able to do it. And we'll definitely be able to do it. The only thing is we got to bounce back because, you know, the thing about a team competition, there's always going to be the draggers, right? The ones that go way too big on too many small caps. But we'll be battling to get them there. Trade the pool, guys. Check it out.
And that goes until tomorrow, correct?
Yeah, until tomorrow, guys, until tomorrow. And like always, we have competitions all the time. The competitions are mainly to learn how you could actually handle that bigger size, right? I always think about these as learning how to build a cushion first and then taking swings. Because if you can build a cushion on a day trade, maybe you get a good first day trade, you can use that cushion, the house's money, to really take a swing, baby.
Scan that QR code, guys, on screen right now over at Trade the Pool. Mitchell, great insight, as always. Good to see you.
Go get it, guys. Boom!
Thanks, Mitch. And yeah, that SRM, of course, with the Tron coin, clearly
Tron
popular.
Coin. I'm just going to buy Tron coin.
Well, you could just buy Tron coin. That's one way to get some play. But SRM, look, it had a massive day. I did see. I mean, I feel like when we were looking at that leaderboard, it might have been half of the top names on a quick glance there were on that small cap. And obviously, that's going to be, it's very popular. Any competition, the biggest returns in a short-term competition are generally going to be won by trading a small capper, right? Like, you know, like you get a it broke out late in the day to go $7 to $11. You get almost like a 40% type of move in there. And then if you had it from the morning, it doubles and almost triples up. What's interesting, or maybe just a little bit weird about it, is it's completely flat all pre-market today. Though I would venture to say it was also completely flat for most of the pre-market going into the open yesterday as well. So I wouldn't necessarily sleep on this just yet. So yeah, SRM, maybe put that one on the back burner, but if it starts to go again, it's just a day two type of play after just out of this world volume. So thank you, Mitch. I know that was a popular one in your contest, and rightfully so.
Yeah, thanks, Mitch. I'm going to go oppo to him, of course. I think Tesla's downside, and you can see it's happening right now. Nice little move to the downside right there for Tesla. The sticky note's out. We're going to talk all about that. I still think long on Tesla if we can break above some of those levels like Mitch was talking about, and we're going to talk about all of those names as well. And of course, you know, yesterday we had AMD. You guys all saw the trade. That was a long trade right there in AMD yesterday. We'll see if we can do it again there today. But yeah, Tesla breaking above some of those levels, 335, 330. This is the level that we picked out for you yesterday, 336.50. If we break that, then I'm flipping over to a long. But until then, we're going to try to go short there. But I do understand the fact that we do have the robo-taxi coming out soon, and or at least the announcement in the event. So that should be fun when that's all happening. But yeah, definitely buy the rumor, sell the news. So I think that as that's coming closer and closer, we do want to remember to get short there on Tesla. But we'll wait to see what winds up happening. Look, this is why it's all about that, right? It's all about every single time there's a trade, someone's hitting a buy and someone's hitting a sell. So we've got to get that figured out here. But yeah, for right now, the market is pulling back. Let's go over to Adara and find out if there's any upgrades and downgrades today.
There are quite a few interesting names, especially in the upgrade side of things, starting with NIO, Chinese ADR play, getting a positive note here from Goldman Sachs. Roku had quite the move yesterday on that Amazon ads partnership. Today, getting an upgrade from Loop Capital. It's already up 2.5%. Spotify with an upgrade from Pivotal Research Group, slightly down on the day, but certainly one to watch. And then Coinbase down about almost 2% here, guys, with a China Renaissance upgrade. The downgrade side of things, Navitas, this is NVT. Anyways, Navitas has been a watch here, recent mover. Today getting a Deutsche Bank downgrade. Then we've got Millicom with a Scotiabank downgrade. Raymond James downgrading Nutrien. And last but not least, JP Morgan Chase downgrading Front View. Yeah, this upgrade side of things could get interesting today. Back to you.
Yeah, Roku with that, with the partnership. That's one that's breaking out on the daily. It wouldn't do it yesterday, unfortunately. Like, you can look on the daily, we're like, yeah, look at this 82.5. Let's see if we can break out. It was a positive catalyst for it as well. It just didn't quite have the juice. Like, there were a couple of nice moves. Like, it bounced off 80 and just played the inside range day for the entirety of the session. You could have had a couple of bounce off that 80 level, but that real big breakout on the daily just didn't occur. Now we're gapping out above. So as long as it holds 82.5, Roku looks like a long to me. And just the kind of name that when you get a fresh catalyst, gives it a little bit of oomph relative to the market. Sometimes everyone sleeps on it after day one. It doesn't make the breakout. Now it's making that break here for Roku. That one looks pretty strong. Some room to get to this and maybe even break this 85.5 zone. So yeah, prior high, yesterday's high. Looks like the support level. As usual, the stock doesn't do a ton of volume pre-market, so you usually want to wait till the open and let it settle down.
Yeah, I mean, Spotify's been super hot. I'm still trying to watch out for some of the names that I've been looking at there, but I did see Spotify on that list. So let me see what it was doing. Still no volume today, 2,000 shares. But I mean, again, another name that I think is that we talked about Netflix and some of these subscription plays that I think are continuously tariff proof. I mean, I didn't like that retail sales number, but again, like, no one's canceling their Spotify or their Netflix or anything like that. So if we do get some dip downs over the next little while, I think this 1180, 1175, something like that there for Netflix, definitely interesting. Eli Lilly yesterday had that move down. We had some Novo Nordisk news as well there yesterday. So not a good day in the last couple there for Eli Lilly, still around 800. So this could be something that looks to break back down below this $800 marker right here for Eli Lilly. So something else on watch. And we just come right up into the two. Like, I bought at 750. My plan was never to sell it at 825, but that does run into the 200 period moving average there again. So could have took something out on that front. And then we talked a little bit about Robinhood there with Mitch, I believe, but JP Morgan and some of the banks as well, also a little downside. There's not too much volume here early in many of these names. Let me just look at what the imbalance locator is saying right now. Actually, the volume on JP Morgan is showing 700,000, but that must be one huge print somewhere that I don't even see on here. So that's wrong on JP Morgan. That might not even be the right level too. Okay, well, I don't know where that volume's coming from, but anyways, this is what's going on here today. It's very, very light day so far on the imbalance locator. Remember, we're only 1 day away from Fed. Although we don't expect anything, that can, help with some of these positions. There's Circle. We got that question earlier on that one. If anything's doing volume, it would be some of these names, 1.13 million shares today. So Oklo, again, another huge name in the nuclear space. You want to look over there. And then Walmart heading lower off that $100 mark, now $94 as that's getting going. And then HIMS, that's always a pretty popular name to trade. So there's a couple good lookers here on the watch list. HIMS, again, looking to break higher. Good base there at 52 bucks. Some of these stocks just look so good if you can get them near some of these lows. So I think a market pullback this next time is giving us a lot of names to look at. HIMS and HERS, another one of those coming through again. And did AMD finally pull back? I wrote down on AMD 127 to 128. The sticky note is now out, so you guys can go find that. There's a lot of people asking for it on the chat. AMD, Tesla, Big Bear AI also on here, and we're going to look for some Apple. So, and then we want to talk about Sunrun and some of the solar names as well. So, look, lots happening. Sharif normally does, I guess, a market rundown. We can throw it back to the desk, talk about that, and then get ready for the watch list. Make sure you do scan that QR code right there. Get the best watch list in the game, and whether or not it's small cap names, sectors like the Solar Edge. Solar sectors on there today as well. Chip names as well. DJT. Oh yeah, DJT yesterday.
Oh, that was
what
nasty.
A move that had at the end of the day on that 3 million share imbalance. And this is why I hope you watch the show for other reasons as well. But we're teaching, like, people were wondering what was going on with this. We showed you it was a monster imbalance that faded off at 355. So you had the huge move up from 1860 to 19, up $1, down $1 within 2 or 3 minutes there based on the imbalances. So DJT today looking to hold that 1860 mark. I don't think getting into the phone business is a good one, but we'll find out what DJT thinks about that and what the stock does today when we open up near that 1860 mark. So that's going to be a good spot as well. I think we do have OSCR on our watch list actually, but anyways, we'll check out some of those stocks. Let's go back over to the desk and get this party started.
Just quickly before we get into that, guys, shout out to our friends over at GlobalX. Anyone in Canada, listen up. GlobalX and their Beta Pro suite of products just got bigger and better. They've launched a whole suite of new index-tied products. You can now trade the Nasdaq 100 and the S&P 500 here on the TSX. There's 3-time leverage going up. There's 3-time leverage going down on the negative side of things as well. Currency hedge for precision, lowest fees and temporary rebate until the end of the year, right through to December 31st. Lowest fees right across the board, including that rebate. So go take advantage of that. Shout out to our friends over at GlobalX. Again, leverage Nasdaq 100. You see the guys trading the TQs all the time. This is basically the same thing, only here on the TSX. Again, shout out to our friends over at DirectX. Let's get a look at the futures, shall we? All right, guys.
That's where we closed out yesterday on the ES2 contract, with the overnight high just being 5 points above that 60-40. So we're going to use the same range we've been talking about the last little while, 60-50 to the high side. And if we can, let's see if we can use 6,000 as support. If we can't, we're looking to the overnight low, 59.91, Brendo, as support.
As the guys were saying, so much to understand this morning. Let's get right into it. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you take a second as well. Jump down to the description of this video right now. Top link in the description will get you to the sign up page for the watch list. It's all you need in the morning, comes right to your inbox, has everything on it that is moving around in the pre-market. Let's go. Here's the overall market. First off, 0.5% for the Nasdaq here to the downside. We'll see if that holds. We're going to touch on Microsoft here, not one that we have typically looked at in quite a while. But this story is kind of interesting, back and forth with OpenAI. There's also a new contract awarded to OpenAI that a lot of people, I think, weren't terribly happy with, and a little bit of controversy as to maybe how they got that. So Microsoft down on that.
Yeah, it's an interesting look here. So some tensions arising now between OpenAI and Microsoft. Let's talk about it. OpenAI is reportedly exploring accusations of anti-competitive practice against Microsoft, which could trigger, Brendo, a federal antitrust review and signal, a public campaign against Microsoft. The move comes as OpenAI seeks to kind of reduce Microsoft's influence, specifically over its AI roadmap and in computing access and product control. We know Microsoft has been providing OpenAI with Azure Cloud Compute. So a key friction point is OpenAI's desire to transition into a public benefit corporation, much to the chagrin of Elon Musk. Now, Microsoft may oppose it as well due to potential impact on its own equity stake in OpenAI. The talks reportedly focus on how much equity Microsoft would receive in the new structure, given that they've spent over $13 billion on OpenAI. The infrastructure independence here also at issue. OpenAI, as I mentioned, uses Microsoft's Azure Cloud, which has raised concerns about dependency. OpenAI is now building its own Texas-based data center to kind of lessen that reliance. But there are strategic moves or stakes at play here. Once a facilitator of OpenAI's growth, Microsoft now is being viewed as a rival, especially after integrating OpenAI's Sora model into Bing. This rivalry intensified, Brendo, as Microsoft aims to embed a lot of these generative AI features into their platform. We know Joseph always using Copilot there.
Yeah, and that just might be a convenience thing for now, but as you said, maybe we need to see a little bit more of that as well from them. Here's the daily chart. First of all, an absolute monster run, guys. Another one. Still pretty impressive despite this little bit of a pullback.
Still pretty impressive. I can tell you, we were a little busy this morning, and the note came out a little bit later than normal, but there's no Microsoft on there. You got some chips, you got Tesla, you got iBit, which we like. Sunrun's going to make it in there. Apple, which maybe we'll get to as we talk about this. But I think there is something you got to pay attention to, because sometimes it's a little bit obvious. There's your big earnings on May, at the end of May or end of April, early May. Big volume spike, big breakout, and then look at what happens in the tight trend line that we're just chilling out in. Easy trend line. So look, if Microsoft ends up breaking this trend line on the daily, then I'd start looking for some day trade shorts, or if you're into that sort of a thing, like a swing short opportunity. Just feels as if it's gone so clean into these highs, and there hasn't been much in way of a pullback. There was one pullback at 460 that lasted a couple of days and went about $10 to 450, and then we resumed. I think you're just waiting to see if it's going to pull back on this trend line. And I think the place that would make the sense is if it can't hold like 467, then you get a deeper retracement. But yeah, I'd just be waiting around for this to show you something on the daily that's a little bit different from what it's doing here. Not really much of a day trading stock. And then I'd make the argument, because this one isn't on the watch list, this is like Apple's the complete opposite of that. We've been saying clearly someone is in control of this stock every time it pops and finds a resistance level. It's the same thing we were saying yesterday. It finds a resistance level, it holds it. It was 15, it was then 5. And it seems like now we're making another one. At the next consolidation level is that 200 area. So this one is a fade. If Apple has a zone like this, it was 206 last week, 205 or 206 before, and now it's 200. Those are easier shorts. Microsoft, you got to wait for it to break that trend, which it hasn't if you're thinking short.
Yeah, I mean, down 1% here, down a little bit more than the market. I mean, the thing is that it's definitely, to look at some of these charts, like we've been in this game for a very, very long time. Like this, now Microsoft's not supposed to move like this, like just straight up. Like you had that one time where we had Meta that went up like 20 straight days. That's basically what this is doing. So I think it is primed for a little bit of a pullback here. I mean, we always like to say that you take some profit when you get back up into some all-time highs and then let it settle down a little bit. And I think that would be sort of the wise thing to do. And I think that's what people have been doing. It is having a hard time getting through that 480. OpenAI, although I know it's a key part right now of the market, Microsoft, it was just a small investment. I know it's grown into a little bit bigger here, but Azure has worked for them on the cloud side of things. And I'm just, I'm a little exhausted with what Microsoft has been doing. And I could see it, a move down here on a little bit of a negative headline there. People have been waiting to sell it. So I think this gives them the reason to do it. But like when I expand this out, I don't really see anything like this level here of 473.50. Like that's gonna hit like right off the open. So I don't know about supporting these levels. I'd rather just wait. If we can get 477, something like that, like yesterday's close, then I could see us, making that move, then using 479 where we were as a top sort of during yesterday's afternoon, that as a level there. So for me, wait to see if it does move with the market and get back up to the upside, and then just hit it lower. But again, the stock is doing really great. And I would just say, slowing down now for Microsoft makes a little bit of sense because of this move that we've had. So whenever something's at all-time highs, there are pullbacks coming. Last week on the show with Brian Shannon, joined he and I tonight, and we talked about what was going to happen with the Nasdaq once we got back up to highs again, and potentially a little bit of a pullback. We're at a triple top right here on the Nasdaq. So yeah, it's going to take a story to sort of break through there, and without that, then maybe we just fade back out again. Obviously, what this was the tariff talk. I don't think we're getting anything nasty like that. But the war right now, potential escalation there. Russia, Ukraine hasn't resolved itself. So if the United States does get involved with Iran, maybe that is one of the top ticking moves here. So, maybe that is what brings the market back down. And Microsoft would lead the way with that just because of, again, the negative reports. And it's at all-time highs as well. So I would say the fade game is on for Microsoft, but I'm not too interested in it. I used to trade this thing like every day. Now I just don't really look at it, and I'm not really sure why. So Microsoft, a good stock to trade. Haven't traded it in a while, and I think it's overdone to the upside.
All right, solar downside, as we were mentioning, if you were with us in the first 30 minutes here, and they continue to just free fall here. That's First Solar. I just noticed Sunrun, another one, RUN, 40% here to the downside on this. The Senate tax bill proposing the phase out of tax credits for both solar and wind energy by 2028 that came through in the Inflation Reduction Act back in 22. not good for any of these.
I don't feel like it's ever a good time for solar stocks. They were supposed to
seems
do
like it.
good under Biden. They didn't do that well under Biden, so I have no idea. All right, Senate version of, as Brendo mentioned, Trump's new big, beautiful bill would fully phase out the solar and tax win credits by 2028. It does, though, keep incentives for longer for other types of energy, which is really annoying some market participants, specifically nuclear, hydropower, geothermal. They all maintain their subsidies, which is obviously signaling a shift in what the favored energy sources of this administration is. It's a marked departure from the Biden Inflation Reduction Act, the IRA, which obviously heavily supported renewables. Raymond James analyst Ed Mills noted that this version is less damaging than the one that was already passed in the House, Brendo, but still poses material headwind for clean energy names. Republicans aim to pass the bill before July 4th holiday because Donald Trump's been pressuring them to do that, but they do face obstacles. So analysts here are saying that the final version of the big, beautiful bill will likely require a House-Senate conference negotiation, possibly dragging it into the later part of July.
We are through any sort of key levels on a lot of these guys. In that case, what are we looking at here?
Well, Run has a few cents until it gets to its 52-week low, which is just underneath $5.50. Now, obviously, this is a little different when I looked at it the first time because prior support was out here at like $6.50 on the daily, right in there. And what we've done in the meantime is hold 625. It looked like that was going to be a pretty key level, right? Like the 625, 650 was going to be a spot. And then we've just started tanking again into 580. So we're going to have to be patient. If you get a relief rally in here, now you're sitting VWAP with that 6.25, maybe into that 650 area that I was referencing that it's on the note. It's doing 10 million volume. It's down the most. This is the one that I liked for the trade. But it's not like you can't see something similar everywhere. FSLR also made some fresh lows. So if you look at one of the relatively strong names, and if I was trading this, I'd be doing the same kind of thing. Like I would have been looking for the play back into the prior resistance. This one happens to be at 145, and since we sat down, it's just run away from all those prices. So it's going to take some patience. It's a short pops because they're all going to be SSR, short sell restricted, meaning some of the pops get a little bit more juice in them at times. So you want to be careful trying to get it on that way to the downside, which of course is it's trickier because you can't hit the bid to initiate a short position without an uptick. But I'm looking at that 6.25 to 650 on Sunrun in particular. If that never comes in, maybe I have a look to see if we can get back to 145 for a fade in FSLR. There's plenty of places to look for strength. I'm not trying to play the dead cat balance. If it makes one, I'll look for my entry point to short.
I think a good area to look is going to be VWAP. I mean, I'm just going to treat all these as bad earnings, basically. So the same kind of strategy, down 33% right here. We've been holding VWAP, hasn't even really tested it at all. So if we do get a relief rally in Sunrun, SEDG, this has been, obviously a disaster. The volume here, 1.56. Let me see what the volume is on Sunrun. Obviously, it's only a $5 name. So this is 10 million. I mean, maybe we just look at this name instead because of the volume today. So I would say up here, $6, $6.20 in this range. This is where you want to go short. This is why we use the 50-period moving average. So that's $6 right there. Let me just try to throw out 100 shares or so. Yeah, okay, so we do have borrows on this, so it's free to borrow. So you're not going to be able to hit the bid, but on any kind of a pop here, SEDG or run back up to VWAP, those are trades for me. So 620 until we break it. And that's what we were talking about earlier. Like if you have a strategy, just play it until it breaks. And you don't need to necessarily go short right now. Let it see if we can pop up. They're all Nasdaq names, I believe. So there's not going to be too much on here to look at for right now. But as soon as, what's SMR trading at 44? So as soon as we get Nasdaq imbalances, which should come out at 925, then we'll be able to get that out there. But wow, SMR is up to $44, up 4%. So is Oklo, up 44% as well. So wow, some of these nuclear names starting to get back there to the upside, breaking through. This is going to be interesting, man, breaking through $70. We had done it before. I think we're going to do it again here today on OKLO, 69.50. I think the pre-market break high in Oklo is going to be a trade for sure. So, yeah, Reddit's moving. There's a lot of names moving around.
Reddit's really moving.
I mean, yesterday the AMD trade was just crazy. And I don't think we're expecting that today. Not even sure really how we found that yesterday, other than it was an upgrade. I looked at 120 and pop goes the weasel. Let's go find the story on AMD. But again, another great look here today for Advanced Micro Devices, up 2%.
All right, real quick, we're getting on in time here. Yeah, AMD on a pullback right now, 1.8%. This was just one of a few things on the positive side of things possible. AWS partnership here for AMD.
A fantastic move yesterday for AMD. Sean had a banger trade there. Let's talk a little about NVIDIA. They also got a price target upgrade from Barclays, boosting from 170 to 200, maintaining the overweight rating. The bullish revision follows a post Q1 supply chain checks indicating very strong near-term upside potential. Barclays sees about $2 billion in upside possibly here for the July quarter revenue versus what the street was expecting. The firm's revised its compute segment revenue, which is essentially their data center AI revenue, up to $37 billion from $35.6. They also say Blackwell capacity reached about 30,000 wafers a month in June. That's below the 40,000 that they had estimated, Barclays that is. But despite the lower output, utilization rates are very strong and they see production scaling faster than expected. They're noting here, Brendo, it's really agentic AI use that's really driving the use case in the second half of 2025.
Interestingly, we are red already, or back to red anyways, guys, for NVIDIA versus AMD here this morning.
Has been trending down since 145. We'll get to that in a quick little second. I know we're getting on in time here. So 128, I like pullbacks into prior highs. That's pretty much always the way we do it. You saw it there on the note. And room to 132.5 or something we were mentioning last night in the aftermarket show. If you do lose 128, the 200 period moving average is just around 125. I think you don't wait till there. Look at yesterday's lows, but back into there if we lose the 128 level. And NVIDIA looks a little bit different. It just cannot seem to hold above 145. It's like it seems like the over-under level. This holds 145, you look for the longs. If it's underneath it, wait patiently for it to play back into prior levels, which, you know, down here, 143.5 into 144 makes some sense. There's just a seller on NVIDIA. It's been super strong, obviously, but there's just sellers in here up at that 145. Until it starts giving you closes above, I think you join it above when it starts putting in higher lows and then go for the gold. But yeah, no sustaining of the movement right now in NVIDIA. I'm just going to look very quickly to see if some other names went red on that. And yeah, some other names did go. Like MU went red on that move as well. So it's just, it looks like AMD holding up that relative strength. I want things that are continuing their trend. I did have this one yesterday, but it only went $4. I mean, it only went $4. AMD was just a strong move. It was a similar play, and now it's in the middle of nowhere as opposed to continuing its breakout trade. That's why I prefer the continuation play instead.
Yeah, so here's yesterday's sticky note right there with the 120 long. We just talked about a key level break here on upgrades and new product announcements, right? And so we also had the Palantir long yesterday at 140. So then we go into today, and now you're at 127 to 128, looking for pullbacks long. It seems extended for sure, so we'll wait for pullbacks. Upgrade at 9% yesterday. Day 2 play coming right now. You can go find it at Trader TV Sean on. And I want to thank all 5,100 of you yesterday for checking out the sticky note. And again, you know, you're pulling right back into VWAP, fine for me. I don't think we want to necessarily trade it right now off of that VWAP, but just looking at the chart for a little bit of extension there, there's yesterday's top of 128. So we're going to look to see if we can get a pullback into there. And then 127 is where this 50-period moving average was. Now we're at 127.50. So if we lose this 127 right there, then I think we lose the trade and we wait to see if, okay, here comes, okay. Well, all right, now there has to be some sort of a news because this is just happening right now in front of our face. Wow, AMD is getting clocked right now, so I got to turn on my
and it's not. No, I'm hearing absolutely nothing
right now and unmute this website because there goes NVIDIA, or there goes AMD to the downside live as you're seeing it right here. There goes NVIDIA, not as much. So it looks like AMD. I don't know if that was a market order or what, but it just went way down to 125. there for advanced micro devices. I have no idea what that story is, but wow. Okay, now it's all the way back up. So someone just got liquidated.
Someone just
something
up,
just happened right there. You just saw that live right there on the show as I was going over the charts, thinking like, oh yeah, you know, if you get down into here, that would be a good area to go short. Well, we just got into there, and you saw how much these levels can change here in the pre-market. So look what happens when liquidity dries up. There it is. No, still not getting anything right now on AMD, but the move is real, it looks like, and it's to the downside right now at advanced micro devices. So yeah, I mean, it's right into the area that I like. So without knowing the news right here, I'm going to say this is a buy at this level. This is sort of what we were waiting for right off the open. So Merry Christmas if you want it right now, but I think we should wait just to see what that story is all about. So this could be pre-market shenanigans.
Assuming there's a story.
I mean, yeah, I mean, we just dropped $3 there.
I assume
there is someone hit the key for some reason. But now it's trying to go back up to the upside. We did see a little bit of a fade there in NVIDIA as well, but it looks like it was definitely AMD specific. We could check out some other big names. You guys know I'm into Marvell there. I like Marvell at 70. That didn't move at all. I like Marvell here at $70 again. I mean, this has been a good stock. It was a lot higher yesterday. We got to hold this area and then hold this 69. If we can get into 69 there for Marvell, I really think that's a good dip buy opportunity. But again, down on the day. I don't want to trade something long if it's down on the day when there's something I'm already looking at that's up on the day. So I like AMD here. We are ready to rock and roll on this name. Was the volume for real at least? Yeah, there was a decent volume
legitimate
there.
volume.
Yeah, not seeing anything, but AMD definitely on one right now. This is changing my whole thing.
It has to. Very quickly before we go back to the desk and talk the last two names, Red Cat, RCAT, announces a 47 million registered direct offering of 6.5 million shares, just slightly underneath those numbers. So if you're wondering what just cratered Red Cat, Red Hat, that's what it is. RCAT down 10% now.
That was a Money Mitch name, so if you trust that guy, it might be time to buy. He said he liked that name, so RCAT down there, down 10%.
All right, let's talk about, I'll keep an eye out for anything on AMD, guys, still nothing. Let's talk about Palantir. A few analysts questioning this $200 million contract going to OpenAI versus Palantir, whether or not that would be a negative catalyst possibly here for PLTR, that DoD contract. If you missed that, 0.5% to the upside, though, right now for Palantir.
Feels like Palantir can do nothing wrong at this level, Brendo, as they keep getting more commercial and government contracts. But this one, the OpenAI, $200 million one-year contract by the Department of Defense for frontier AI capabilities. So it's going to be the first official listing with the Pentagon for OpenAI. It's going to be for warfighting and enterprise missions. This builds on OpenAI's collaboration with the defense firm Anduril, who also secured a $100 million contract back in December. The deal is part of a new division. It's called OpenAI for Government, which includes ChatGPT government platform. It will enable government bodies to access custom models, roadmaps, support tools, etc. It's going to help in healthcare access, data streamlining, and proactive cybersecurity solutions.
Just real quick to wrap things up here, we'll talk Meta here. A huge day yesterday to the upside. Did come back in a little bit before the close. If you missed it, 10 billion potential ad revenue. Again, they're going to monetize WhatsApp with ads basically everywhere on WhatsApp. So negative right now, guys, but Meta strong here too.
It dips into that 680 yesterday and then goes for a bit of a rally early in the pre-market. Look at the mid 695 zone. Looks like it's the place to be on Meta. Still nothing hitting the wire on AMD. I checked to see if anything on the imbalances. Nothing just yet. We'll see if anything pops up. You know what? It's possible. It might not be. It's possible. Sometimes someone could have thrown an order for the auction and actually thrown a limit order. There's lots of fat finger orders that can happen. Palantir. I liked 138.5 to 139 as like the prior high zone to play into yesterday. I'm going to stick with that. It doesn't make a fresh high, so it's not breaking out. I put it in that category of like MU was strong yesterday, but it's not really gapping and breaking the top, so allow it to play back into the bigger level, which to me is a little closer to that 139 zone. So keep an eye on these imbalances. We'll see if anything pops up on AMD there. A little bit surprising to see it that heavy.
All right, so I'm gonna take a breakout on Palantir here. It's going to have to break through 143.50. It's going to have to get through this level right here. If it does, great, we'll run that long and we'll see what can happen. I think it's just going to be a small little punch, maybe 20 to 25% of the size that we're looking to take on this name, and then we'll see if it has that break and fake. So, but right now the market is pulling back in. We can have a quick little look at the imbalances here just to see what's going on. I don't really, there's Reddit as a buy, but nothing else really giving me the thought. TQQ as a sell, that's the Nasdaq again.
Not even the soul.
There's nothing else. Like anything under a couple 100,000, I'm not super interested in it, especially with the volumes that are going through. So it does look like Palantir right here near the lows and looking to take this out from yesterday's low as well of 141.30. So if I was a little more bearish on the market, I would think that this is a name that we could watch out for a downside play here with Palantir. So with moments before the market opens, I'm going to let pretty much all of these things try to settle down right now, not moving the way we had thought. Palantir was up, and it looks like it's going to go red. So for me, just early trading here will be AMD off of, we wrote down 127. We just kind of held that 127 area. Of course, we did flush, but if you zoom in right now, we're holding 127.50, which is the 200 period moving average. So let's just see what the reaction here to the market is on that. And then we're looking for short Tesla around 238, 228, sorry, if that comes into play as well.
Obviously.
So there's lots of stuff happening with only 30 seconds left. And then I do have BBAI. This will be a break. We didn't really talk too much about this. A break of that 415. I like that. That's that level right up there that we sort of hit yesterday into the afternoon. Give it back down to 4. If we break 4, we can get out. It's a pretty simple trade there for Big Bear AI. And then the other one on my mind was Apple. We're waiting to go short here, sub 200. So 198.50 into here for Apple. If any of those trades fill, your boy will be in them. So we're getting ready.
Yeah, I'm only offering a couple of things here, but the bell brought to you by Origenics OGEN, listed on the NYSE. Let's ring it right about now. Let's get it.
All right, let's see what happens here. The markets are now obviously open, so I'm going to watch out. There's Apple, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to watch out for AMD. So, okay, we're into something right there. What just plunged? Oh, BBAI. So there goes Big Bear AI. We're going to watch out for that right up there. Okay, nice move so far. Let's get out of something on Big Bear AI because there it goes. Boom. Goes the dynamite on this name. Let's just see if it wants to go. Again, another sticky note name written down there, $4.15. Let's see if Big Bear AI wants to go. We got out of 20% right there. We'll get out of another little bit here at 24 and then see if we want to go higher. There it goes. Let's go. Big Bear AI. Your boys got this one as well. Yesterday was AMD and Palantir. Today, Big Bear AI. There's 10 cents on a $4 name. There's 12 cents on a $4 name going higher. Big Bear AI to start the day. Not too bad. And AMD's trying to rip north side again as well. What a surprise.
It's, yeah, AMD absolutely trying to go
Big
here.
Bear.
128. It's trying to hold on to 128. Remember, this is pretty much where it was when that flush occurred. It was at 128.8, so it's still a little bit of red on AMD. I'd like to see maybe hold VWAP above prior lows. Otherwise, we wait for the absolute bottom and be patient with it.
Oh, boy.
Oh, forget about Tesla. All right, I'm sitting 330 into 331. Tesla just broke low of day. It's Apple that looks like it's the one that wants to go. I'm sitting right at yesterday's highs to play a bit of a fade trade. And then one last one for you. NVIDIA, load, come on, man. NVIDIA trying to hold this 145. So NVIDIA breaking that downward trend it was in. I'm playing over-under on this price. Once it shows me buyers above 145, I want to be long in NVIDIA. Otherwise, keep the preference over in another name. But so just trying to be patient with it here. AMD still looking a little bit heavy. Oh, and by the way, Sunrun. Yeah, so much for 625 to 650. It's already at $5.50. Sunrun now down 41%. Yuck.
All right, I mean, we're doing it already. It's not a dollar club, but it's a hell of a trade right there for Big Bear AI. So there it goes, man. Out some at 30s. It gets as high as 32. Let's just wait to see where it goes. So decent size there at 25 just got taken out. Let's take out another piece at 25 if we're able to. There goes AMD again. We just, it's too bad. Well, it's not too bad. We made good money on Big Bear AI temporarily anyways. Let's wait to see if it holds. But right now, AMD is doing its own dance. Money Mitch was talking about a long on Tesla. It's fine. And it's not really doing too much yet. So XAI is, that's not Tesla, but We're going to have to wait to see their 324 dip opportunity there for Tesla. We were waiting for 328 to short it. So we got a little bit of work to do if we're going to short that. There goes AMD right back into 127 again. This was a level that I was thinking about early. We did not take it yet, though. So we're going to wait to see if AMD has anything for us here at 127. It was a level that we like to look at. But oh boy, Neil, man, we're almost at our daily goal again right now. It's silly to say it, but you know, it's true. That's why we're doing this. So there it goes right now. BBAI up to 434, man. It's 15-cent winner here on a $4 name. Let's see if we can get even higher on BBAI. I'm actually waiting for some 34s, then some 39s. Let's take something out at 32 if we can get it. It seems like it is having a little bit of a problem, but AMD bouncing off of 127 as well. So that seems to be an okay level for now. But the market is trying to figure
Micron
itself
just went.
out. Micron's going.
Yeah, it's always look left, go right. Micron just broke out the highs. It looks like 121, 120, yeah, 121 pretty much exactly. That's the chip name that's looking the strongest, at least for now. It was a strong name yesterday, but it wasn't the strongest of them, obviously. 121, let's see if it can't pull back into that price. I wanted 128 to hold. I wanted 145 to hold NVIDIA. Neither one of those things happened in AMD nor NVIDIA as they're looking relatively weak. And I see you guys in the chat, lots of people mentioning a few things here at the open. One, Lilly losing a bit of the bid through the $800 level, so be careful with that. And one that we should have been talking about, and apologies not getting to this, Robinhood, another all-time. Okay, fine. It did break an all-time high. It's already pulled back a little bit here. But Robinhood had made an all-time high right there off the open, trying to take the 77 level. I liked IBIT again today, but it's nowhere near my levels down around 104. So if I don't get a 104, then I don't think I trade it. Tesla, we're going to have to be patient because that tanked instantly. We're looking to short the pops. Not a heck of a lot going on in that name either. Come on, Micron. Give us an entry here.
All right, guys, let's go, man. It's another face slapper over here, man. We're taking entries left, right, and center right now. We got AMD right here, 25-cent winner so far here on Advanced Micro Devices. Let's see if we can get going. Go, AMD. Here we go, man. It's a sticky note trade again, baby. There's 70 cents on that one right there from 127 up to 127.75. There goes Advanced Micro Devices. There goes Big Bear AI. We're having, once again, another one today. So let's just keep on going right now and see what happens to the upside right now on many of these names. AMD is still tricky, man. I don't know if this is going to blast or not, but Big Bear is a wow. Okay, now AMD is starting to go, man. 127.75. Let's get some more out over here as we're going to, so far, so good. But again, this market is tipsy-turvy. What's up, Adara?
Just be aware here, a couple different catalysts coming out this morning. So Sean Duffy, who is the Secretary of Transportation, talking here about how there's going to be these new FAA and international partners collaborating on advanced air mobility, ACHR and JOBY here on Watch to the Upside with that in mind. Then we also have NFLX. So probably about like 15 minutes before the open, there are some reports that came out. Apparently the company is opening its first two immersive fan experience centers. They're calling Netflix houses in Philly, Dallas, and Las Vegas. The first two are going to be in Philadelphia and Dallas, Texas. So NFLX getting a little bit of a boost as well. Back to you.
All right, we do like NFLX, but
like Netflix.
Yeah, I mean, look, just a tale of. I mean, Neil hasn't made it isn't anything yet, which is fine. We're in BBAI. We just got some out at 434 there. I mean, that's pretty good for our target, man. I mean, we were long early at 415. You know, if it wants to work, great. But just zooming back out on Big Bear AI, it's a nice move up. We had similar candle on this yesterday on AMD, but you could see we're just kind of running into this level of 440s. So we'd like to break through there, give it a little bit of a minute there. We're out of half of Big Bear AI already, and we still have got about 70% left of AMD because go, AMD, go. We might have another one here today on Advanced Micro Devices. Let's just wait to see. We're long right now at 127 and then $4 and change on Big Bear.
Yeah, I can see AMD starting to get its legs underneath it, but you're not really seeing that in NVIDIA. Obviously, I've shown you guys Micron, how strong that is. NVIDIA still holding that 145.
Right, Palantir.
You've got no battle in there. Palantir not quite through 140 yet. I was just looking at that one as well. Never mind. It just broke the 140. Yep. So coming right into 139. This is absolutely cratering. What's weird is the market was breaking out like a second ago, but it's still very much inside. So Palantir does not hold on to 140. That 138.5 into 139 was a dip buy zone for myself here in PLTR. But very clearly, You're getting a lot of strength coming into this Micron. It's doing its first dip available. I won into 121, so I'm going to get my bids out on that bad boy, see if we can't pick it up. Sunrun, stick a fork in it. It's now through 550 and still looking incredibly nasty. I'm not chasing the move down another $1 on that stock. Still no break of 145 on NVIDIA yet, and obviously Micron is completely gone.
All right. We say it, at least I say it day after day. Neil has his notes out. You can go double check those. I've got these notes out. Here's a sticky note. There's Tesla AMD 127 to 128. We're long at 127. We just took $1.50 on that trade. So, yeah, I'm just trying to show that these things are possible, and we did it again right there. So thank you everybody for watching. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Let's go. We tried 140, but we got 140.15 out 140 break. So we have a 15-cent hit there on Palantir. We're gonna go 2 for 3. BBAI is still doing fine, but it's advanced micro devices, man. I mean, I would pat ourselves on the shoulder again, but I want to pat all of you guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for doing these trades with us here again. I mean, this is why, honestly, this is what we're doing. I'm putting out ideas, taking them, and seeing if they work. So far, so good right here for advanced micro devices. Let's see when moon. I mean, we could get going a lot more right now in AMD. So we're gonna wait to see how far we can go on this one. We now have about 40% left of this. So, so far, so good here. Let's go, man. Thank you so much to everybody again in the chat. Thank you so much, Hal R, Midas Touch, all this kind of stuff. You are the man. Thank you so much. What's up to F as well on here? All this kind of stuff. So yeah, man, these are the face slappers. And just, again, you know, like this is the whole point of what we're trying to do here. Show you some winners and get you excited and get you involved and just becoming more confident because like I said, 95 to 98% of day traders can't do this kind of stuff, right? And so here's the trade right there. It's a nice move. Neil, it's now almost a $2 winner as we say what's up to everybody who's a member of Hydration Nation. So the banger over here, what's going on over there?
Just being patient, man. What led to gains yesterday was making sure we had specific entry points for sure, which is Palantir $1 lower from here, Micron $1 lower from here. And as I said, you know, sometimes you're going to have an idea, but unless you're in it in the pre-market, like I said, Sunrun, you had no shot. There was one chance maybe to get that short into $6. I'm going to move target down into VWAP here. Anytime you're trending down, if you're not going to have support and resistance, you know we like the volume-weighted average price for any kind of a mean reversion play. But Apple not really doing much of anything. Tesla not doing much of anything either. My level on AMD was 128, and when that did not hold, I waited for it to reestablish. So I have a bid trying to cash that off the 128. I'm not going to chase the move. I think it comes right back into me. If it does a 130 break, I'll take that. If it does a fail, then we try to dip back into the volume-weighted average price. That's the place I'm going to look. Micron was the one I loved yesterday, but it just went another $1 higher as it's looking absolutely nuts. It's all of the chips right now, Sans, NVIDIA, because I just saw, I mean, Intel also just broke the $21 level. So they're all parabolic right now with the exception of NVIDIA. I'm expecting some dips to be able to come back in here any second.
Oh, man. Well, the good thing about what we've been doing here is we don't really have to wait for any dips right here because there it is, man. It is now $2 as the bull continues to ride on advanced micro devices. So we put that in, we did that right now. So we don't really have to do too much stress anymore. We're out of half of our BBAI. I don't know what it's trying to do. I'm going to get out of some more here at 24 if we can get that level, and just that's what we've been doing. It's now underneath VWAP, so we did have a nice move to the high side. Hopefully we don't get stopped out of this name, but I was thinking about maybe even just stopping out at the 50 period. Let's stop out at a 4. Let's stop out right here. I was going to give it a little bit lower. That's 406. That's 407. Maybe if that wants to break, then we can get out of Big Bear AI. I was going to give it a little bit lower than that, but right now let's go to $4.07. If it breaks, let's go to 406. If it breaks that, then we're going to punch out of it all because right now, man, we're just chilling because we've got the banger right here, and that is going to be AMD. There's nothing else for me left to do. We are still in a quarter of this, but good move back in here, maybe. Let's take another piece out, whatever, man. We're playing with house money. We've been playing with house money all month. So nice downside move there for Palantir, continuously going down, breaking now down through 140 one more time. So yeah, man, this is what's working for me. Being patient, waiting for plays to come in, following your own playbook and nailing them. So that's what we're doing right here. And we did it again with advanced micro devices. So thank you for everybody in the chat. It means a lot that you guys can continuously support us. And I want to thank everybody who's watching right now. Hit the like and the subscribe, man. We only have 870 likes, which is pretty good, but 10,000 of you watching. So if you haven't hit the like button, please do it. It's a banger there on Big Bear early, and AMD is coming right back in. So yeah, we're already, like I said, man, now we only have 20 to 25% left of AMD, but we just got another piece right there out of 129.20. So here comes AMD right back into a level that I know Neil was talking about.
100%. Tesla just lost a bid again. I'm now sitting VWAP on Apple. Those are the two names I wanted to the short side. The market just wicked the top and is absolutely heading toward this low of the day. If we break the overnight lows, I don't want to be without any of the short ideas that we like. And if we're not getting Apple up at 198.5 into 200, then I'm taking it at the volume weighted average price on the way back in. Micron doesn't seem to want to do anything but go up. It's not even pulling back that much. It's 121 since it's VWAP. I'm going to park the order in there, get the order ready to go, just in case it does a big dip. AMD is still trying to hold above 128. There's your dip into the volume weighted average price. Let's see if it can actually hold. The market does look like it's relatively weak. Apple just broke low of the day. Yeah, it's looking pretty nasty. As I said, Tesla is completely gone. We'll have to let that one calm down. Like yesterday, Tesla did absolutely nothing. Today, Tesla is doing a heck of a lot, and none of it.
Short.
No, like none of it's any good on TSLA. Favoring the shorts, but unfortunately, 320 now. Sorry, I said 320 now tracking on Tesla. I don't know where the bottom's going to be on this bad boy, but I'm not chasing it all the way down here. It's Apple that you still have some time to be able to get into. So we'll see if we can grab that on the way back in, if there is even any kind of a bid. I'm sitting $0.50 for the first look on AMD. And yeah, Apple losing the bid, the Nasdaq losing the bid as well. Apps is moving. That's going to be Digital Turbine, but that wasn't on my radar at all. We'll get to that in a quick little bit. I want to make sure I can get in some of these shorts.
All right, so here it is right here, man, on Tesla. We talked about the short. I know Money Mitch was talking about the long, but we were talking about the short. Didn't come in into 328, but the short has happened. So there's AMD with our posted longs, and there's Tesla with the posted shorts. So yeah, hopefully it can come in. Big Bear AI does go back into 415. It's now at 418, so we could look at that. And then there's my Apple 198.50 short that we're looking for as well. So yeah, so far so good here for us on the day as we just sit around and sort of, you know, wait for that next opportunity. Yeah, Tesla, good little bounce there at 320. I'd rather short it, you know, if it comes back up into this 325 area. So it looks like it's trying to do that, but I don't necessarily want to short anything. We've run up on AMD again. A nice little move here. I'm still going to wait for that one. I mean, we only have a quarter left, and we've already made a good amount on this, but I'm going to put something out around the 70s, see if we can grab that. I'm not going to reload. I know Neil's in that. I'm not going to reload it. We're going to wait. And there it goes, breaking back down below now, 128. So let's wait to see. This is a level that we had in mind here for AMD. I mean, we wrote it down. So we'll wait to see, though. We did get that early push on advanced micro devices. Here comes the market back up to the upside. So 127.80 or so might be a decent level here to give it up if it does break lower.
That's annoying.
On AMD. But for right now, good move higher. Let's wait to see if we can hold it. And we're going to wait to see on Big Bear AI to see if there's anything happen right there on that. But here it goes, man. A nice little move upside now for advanced micro devices. So hopefully you guys are following some of the notes and been able to have a decent trade so far there today. We are going to look for some more names, man. I know there's been some talk about some Reddit on people's minds. So let's just have a quick little look over there. Let's go AMD, get through 129 again. All right, so there's a nice move. Yeah, Reddit up 15%. Wow. Forget it, Reddit. You are now gone. So that's a nice move right into there. What is this level right there? 150 now for Reddit, a key area. So maybe a bounce off of that, but there goes Reddit, man. 145. Good play there on Reddit.
Yeah, great look over there on Reddit. I just punched out of AMD when going to put an order on Micron. I tried to slap right back into it. It holds pretty much exactly on the line at the 128 level. I got some out of the $0.50. That was supposed to be it. Now it's already at 129. So only into one position, and it did work, but I got it way too early on that trade. Just very quickly here, Micron doesn't get to the volume weighted average price. It ends up bouncing off of 121. So it looks to me like this is holding the top end of the range very, very well here. Might try to move the entry to the $0.50 and just take it on a different entry. So the chips are strong. Micron has been relatively strong compared to the rest of them, but it's only up 1.7%. Still has a lot of room to go. And just want to give a big shout out to Prop XP. This open brought to you by them. Level up your trading game with Prop XP. Up to 1 to 200 leverage in a static shutdown. Scroll the site and pick your challenge at propxp.com. Trade directly on the platform. Sign up, try it free, and start your trading journey. Enjoy rapid payouts and real human support. No bots. Rated 4.6 stars on Trustpilot, trusted by traders worldwide. Right now, get 50% off with the code TraderTV. Link is in the description. So shout out to them. Check out that QR code, and of course, link in the description a couple of ways that you can get more information about Prop XP. Tesla's about to make its first push to the upside into the volume weighted average price. This could be our first chance to look for a short there. And Apple, in a different move, is continuing to go lower and lower. So Apple, both names that we like to the shorts. I mean, I even like Sunrun. Maybe you just have to be able to take it at a price you don't like. Sunrun's grinding toward VWAP. I'm looking for an entry out in front of 590 or so on run, trying to get off the schneid this stock, but not doing a very good job of it.
All right, I'm going to be shorting Tesla at 324. Hopefully that can come through there, and we will have that play. We did get some more out, obviously, on AMD as we broke through 129. So some more outs up there. Like I said, I'm not going to reload, man. We've done well here on AMD. Let's see if we can do even better on this play right now. We'll wait for another 127 or so reload. Palantir, whoops, that's Big Bear AI. Palantir right here makes that move into 139. Something interesting to look at. I'm actually going to cancel my Palantir. I was going to start to bid some 138s down there, but I'm not sure we're going to get to it, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. Tesla, the 324, let's just talk about that maybe as a potential level. So the reason why I was looking at 324 was that's where VWAP is, so that's 324.50 or so, with the 200 period, sorry, the 50 period at 325.50. So as we start to run up a little bit here on TSLA, that's going to be my first area, 324. If it breaks it, we'll be short there at 324, and then we're going to get out if it breaks 325.50. So, you know, maybe a nice move coming here on Tesla. I'm going to wait and be as patient as we can be with all of that. We talked about potentially trading some run as well today in Sunrun, and just treating that like a VWAP play. So that's coming up. That's going to be 580. So if that hits, that's 565 right now for Sunrun. We're out of half of our Big Bear AI, but nothing really going on again. We just got some 20s there. I don't know. Maybe the run already happened. Maybe it's going to happen later on. So, you know, again, just in waiting for this trade, I think it's worth doing that on Big Bear AI. So let's be patient with it. You guys sort of know where the stop is, breaking that pre-market area of 407. So if that happens, then we will be out of Big Bear AI for about a flat trade, unfortunately. I'm taking these trades as like those chances, right? That Big Bear AI does go up that 10% today or something, right? I mean, so let's hold it and see if that is something you're in Sunrun, okay?
Yeah, just got into Sunrun. And good. The other thing is, while the market just bounced a little bit, Bitcoin just broke the low. So 59.2 and 104 is the target that I'm looking for the long. Now that you're through the bottom, I know it's relatively weak, but if you pull up a 15-minute chart, I like the 104 support on Bitcoin. So we get down there, I'm taking my shot. We're into some Sunrun, playing it back into, I mean, you already said the volume weighted average price, so not to repeat anything, but there is a local high at 585 on Sunrun up here. It did not break that. Okay. I just get right back in. 585 is that local high. If it breaks above there, then I want to be out of this stock. I think this stock, if it breaks this level at 585, I think we get to that 625, 650, which was the zone that I really wanted. So if we can get that, great. If we can't, then we'll wait for the next available opportunity. Just to track back to AMD, I am trying to reload this one, but the money fills have been under VWAP at 120, at 128. So that's where I want to try to pick it up, like right in front of that 128 where we got it to the last time. And I guess I'm not going to get into Micron. Micron just made another high of the day. Yeah, Micron's on a little bit of one here right now. I do like this to the long side. I didn't want to take any breakouts in this thing. So we're going to have to go back into the dip buy, see what we can get. The even dollar looks like it's going to have to be the spot. So we're just in run. We're at 79, it's at 72. We'll get a bid down at 68 and then down in front of 550, which was the prior 52-week low, by the way. I think that's a good spot to make sure we take profit.
Yeah, all right, so a little bit in and out there on run. I was still looking at that as well. I should have been there on VWAP, and of course I wasn't, as we were just talking about that. All right, so good trade there. I should have followed my own rules and got short with you, but that's okay. All right, so JP Morgan, I want to have a quick little look there. 270, that's nice, finally starting to break through the moving, JP Morgan NY, of course. There it is right there, breaking through your moving average right now on JP Morgan. There goes VWAP, there goes the 200 period. We definitely like that one. We are now $2 and change in the money on the face slapper right there with AMD. So 129 and change right now. So good move right now for us on AMD. Let's take another out up here at 129. So, all right, what's up, Adara?
Just be aware here, Lennar and Digital Turbines, LEN here and APPS, both on watch, making earnings day one moves to the upside. Digital Turbines here with a double beat inline guidance. LEN, kind of more mixed earnings either way, though. These two to the upside on watch today, and a very catalyst heavy day. Back to you.
Yeah, very catalyst heavy day. Remember you want to trade things that have news on there, good or bad. The bad news in the entire space for the solar names just bounced. This is going to be, it's hard to see. I got this wick in here, which skews the scaling. But there was a open range, like 560 hold in both directions, pre-market and then right after the open on that initial flush. It just bounced off that 560. So I did take another leg out there. You can see if we break away from VWAP, we'll be out. And I have a couple bids going into the 550 level. That's the previous 52-week low. If you're looking at the rest of the group, you're down 41% here. But look at First Solar. First Solar is trending up and above the volume weighted average price. If this continues, I consider this a bit of a leader in the group. If this continues trend up, probably going to want to get out of sun run before we even get to our target. Don't want to fight a relief rally here. Ideally, this breaks trend, and then we can feel way better about that shorting opportunity here in run. So we have the right one in that we're short the weakest, but First Solar starting to catch a little bit of a bid here is giving me reasons to want to take some profit before that low of the day here on Sunrun.
All right, ARM. Yeah, let's just go over some more names. I mean, we're in Big Bear AI. We can watch out for some Palantir as well. Our Apple, there's 140 again, taking on Palantir. So that might be a good level. We are looking for Apple at 198. That's not happening. Apps again. We can look at Digital Turbine to see what's going on. There's a lot of traders trading that one today. So there goes Apps. Huge move up here off of earnings. So a nice move there. 36% coming back in on Digital Turbine. If we zoom back out again, just to see where we may find a top. And what a surprise it is, right there at $7. So we were just there back in February. We're there now again. So this one, apps, if you're still long this, I mean, up here at $7, could be something to look at right now with APPS. So have a look. AMD still $2 plus, trying to go higher there, so we're pretty happy with that performance. So far, Advanced Micro Devices, but apps making that move. And then just a quick check on NVIDIA before I go over to Adara. There's a nice move up on NVIDIA as well. So hopefully AMD can continue to climb higher right now as it's leading the way for me today. AMD, Big Bear AI, and Palantir. What's up?
Keep an eye here on Paramount and some of these other cable TV plays. It's also worth basically noting here that we heard this report earlier this week, but now we're seeing it again. The Trump administration is apparently considering a crackdown on pharma ads. We know these cable companies are pretty reliant on pharma ads, so these pushing to the downside Also, apparently, some of these healthcare names pushing lower as well. AbbVie, near day's lows, Pfizer as well. These names are also on watch after Trump indicated once again yesterday that he's considering pharma tariffs. Apparently, will happen very soon. So keep an eye on these plays. Also, just a reminder, 10 a.m., we're going to have some economic data, business inventories, and the NAHB housing market index. Neither of these are usually huge movers, but certainly things to be aware of. I'll bring those for you live at 10 a.m. Back to you.
Yeah, pharma tariffs have been coming soon for quite some time now. Probably pick the strong ones and maybe buying opportunities there, but not all of them are strong in that space. Palantir didn't quite get all the way, but man, it was certainly very close after breaking that 139 to filling in. Zoom a little further back, filling in the next part of this gap and getting into the bottom end of this range, 85 into 137. It's now back above the volume weighted average price. I don't necessarily want to chase it, but if you can hold, maybe even, if you can hold VWAP or maybe even just hold the 141, this stock, when it tries to go green, it has an overwhelming tendency to get there. Sunrun did make, I got to zoom right back in for this so that you can actually see the levels, did make the press down into that 560, so it's trying to bounce there. But First Solar is still making its charge, so I'm a little bit cautious with this, see if it can't get to that low of the day. But FSLR is still looking like it's trying to hold, come on. Still looking like it's trying to hold above VWAP. So like you're getting a relief rally, which makes me want to almost jam out of this trade. I don't want this one to go back into VWAP on me, but I'm out of 80% of it at this point. So I think it makes sense given that dead cat bounces are pretty common. If we break trend on FSLR and I can find a good entry or re-entry, then I will reload Sunrun, but not until I see the group go back to said downside.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, we'll look to get green there. Yeah, no, I'm getting more out of AMD right there at the highs of 129.50. This is $2.50, so it's, we're not like we're playing around here. We're trying, and we have a new position right now with Tesla. So I just got missed at 324. I was at 324 flat. Like, I don't know why we didn't get that short there. So must have printed through. I was on Nasdaq. We just, maybe it just came up to 324 and we didn't get it. So that would have been a good trade for us. But we're back into it right now. So there it goes, man. Here we go. 50 cents in the money now for Tesla. So let me just get some bids out on Tesla. We do have a number at 10 o'clock. Let's take 50 cents on it and go over to Adara.
We'll start with business inventories here, exactly in line with estimate. 0% business inventories month over month, a forecast here of 0%. NAHB housing market index a little bit lower than expected, 32 versus 36 expected. It's also lower than the previous print of 34. Nasdaq continuing to push higher without a care. Still, we do have geopolitical tensions on watch, of course. We have the Fed meeting tomorrow. We're still expecting there won't be any rate changes, but it's always interesting to see what we're going to get, especially because tomorrow we'll get a summary of economic projections, and there's always the Fed press conference after with Fed Chair Jerome Powell. Here's TMUS, T-Mobile. This one on watch, gapping pretty hard to the downside, though it's trying to bounce a little bit here. SoftBank apparently raising $4.9 billion through a sale of T-Mobile shares. This was initially reported by Bloomberg. Then Reuters reported it again, actually saying that they saw the document. So it looks like the sale did happen. Here's PLTR. This one bouncing nicely here off the lows, but gapping down or pushing a little bit lower here as well, especially off the open. After we had OpenAI receiving a $200 million defense contract, it's only about $10 million less than Palantir's biggest contract. So PLTR could have a new competitor in the defense contract space. Back to you.
So we took 75 cents on Tesla there. Hopefully we can get a little bit lower on that as we're not out of it. We're just relaxing with it right now, Tesla. So we got out of only 20%. So we took 50 cents, then we took 75 cents. And now we're going to wait to see if we can get lower move here on TSLA. We've pretty much out of everything of AMD. We got a great level there on AMD, and I'm just thinking about right here. Let's just clap out of it all right now. We are now out of AMD for your one big trade so far here today. But I do think, Neil, that Tesla could be the big one as well. So let's wait to see. We are short right now. I'd like to get more short into 325. We talked about just getting missed there at 324. No idea why we did. And then I had to take some shares there at 50s. So not happy that we had to pay down 50 cents, but that's okay because, hey, man, now we're 50 cents in the money. So, we got to sit here, trade opportunities that we see. I thought Tesla was a good one there, so we have it. So right now it's 50 cents. I might just take, let me just take another piece out right here at 85. If we, well, I just bid 85. Let's see if we can get it. One more little flush, and then we'll try to get that dollar at 322.50. Nothing to do with a dollar club. That's just for fun. But these down ticks right here have stopped at 322.50. So, you know, one more fill there would be nice to get. I am bidding 85, so if we can get that fill as well, that would be good. And then, well, there it goes. And then we'll wait to see for much lower than that. So here we go, man. We're going to go 3 for 3 so far today and have a decent start one more time here. So let's just keep this momentum going, man. Out of AMD there, obviously it's ripping back up, but that's fine. We only had 5% left. We'll see what AMD can do now. And then short on Tesla and Palantir, just waiting for something to happen. And then Big Bear AI, just floating around, really. Maybe I'll put something else out here at 20s for Big Bear AI.
Yeah, finally, I mean, I saw you got into Tesla. I finally got into Apple, which was the other name I like.
Okay.
NVIDIA, whoops, I said NVIDIA. Tesla at VWAP, Apple at VWAP. 197 here on Apple. It's been a big level regardless for Apple. So we shorted just underneath. It's already holding the 196.70. So one bounce off the 70 level. I like the low of the day at that 196. Just reminding everybody, if you zoom it out a little bit, on Friday, the bottom was 195.80. So I think you get into this level here and you want to be out. Good support level for Apple. It has been catching a few bids in there. I just got a quick peek. There is some size at the 130 on AMD. Not that it matters, but sometimes when shorting or when taking a breakout trade, you prefer there to actually be a bunch of size there. I know that's counterintuitive, but I do like it a little bit better. And there is some size at that 130 break for AMD. I'm going to reload Apple at that 197. See if we can't grab it. Reloaded at VWAP on Sunrun. Apple's the only new position. And as you just mentioned, AMD. Oh, never mind. It just pulled back into 129. It saw 130, some size there, and now pulling back into 129. Just to go over the chip space, like Micron is still yet to really pull back, and I'm still waiting here at VWAP in front of the 122 level. So the only new position was Apple. Sunrun was more of a reload at that 580 level. Let's see if we can't get back into the low, but we might be able to get into Micron for the first time here today if this does pull back into the volume weighted average price. Strong moves in the chips, and I know we're only looking at the same names. We showed Intel was already at $21, and that was up. It's right back into VWAP. ARM was one that I think you mentioned. ARM up 4% at its highs of the day. So there's some big movers in this chip space for sure. All right, here comes Sunrun on the way back in from VWAP. Get some bids out because without them, you can't actually get filled.
Yeah, no, yeah, what a mistake that was, I guess. So first of all, Tesla, I mean, look, I'm not, we're doing well today. So I'm cool looking at all the same names. I'll continue to do that as much as we can, but we are, Neil and I, both looking at the chat to figure out what you guys want. Because right now, there it is, man. We've had a dollar club on AMD. We've had a dollar club now on Tesla. And Big Bear AI was probably one of the best ones to start the day off anyways. So, so far, so good there. Mistake, obviously, getting out of AMD right there. But now it's falling back into VWAP. So let's try a long now in AMD just to see if it wants to work. All we're trying to do right now is kind of just top off some of the day that we've already had. I'd like to see it obviously get back. Okay, here we go. I mean, look at that, man. There's the face slapper again, man. 30 cents, quick as you like, there on AMD. So there it is, man. We just got out 88s as well. So a nice move there on the reload. And we have a thing for that. Okay. And there it is, man. Take out some more 90s. So, hey, it's a smooth 30 cents again right here. So I don't know, like, I don't know how Apple's moving, but we just picked that off there at 128.50 right there on AMD, man. Just trying to show you the trades that I'm in and just give it to you real like right there. There's AMD, nice move. And we're making our day with these plays. Like, look, there goes Big Bear AI. Let's go, man. There's the face slapper again, Joe. How's it going, Joe? Good, man. Good. Glad you're here, man. All right, so nice move up, 422, 424. Here we go. We are at the highest spot we've been at all day. So it's a dollar right here on Tesla. It's Big Bear AI rip time. It's AMD let's go time. Everything pushing pretty well for us right here, right now. Like I said, Mohan, you can ask us, man. We don't show P&L. That's a decision that we've made, but I'll tell you green, and green pretty good, to the point where we've now just hit with our positions, you know, sort of the goal that we set for ourselves every day. And I'd sort of just do that on purpose to let you know it's 10:07. Sometimes I won't hit it at all, and sometimes we'll hit it early. And I just try to let you know, with based on all of the trades that I've had so far, it is a very green day. So I just hope you guys are watching out for that. Again, you can ask if we're red or green, both on this show, midday show, after show, whatever you want. I think that's a good way of judging it, because we've just chosen not to do that, right? So that's what we're doing here. So, you know, some days some traders are in sim and everyone trades different. So the P&L doesn't really matter. It's more the ideas, right? That's what we want you guys to focus on, because you can use whatever share size your account can hold. Some of our accounts can hold different than others. So let's just keep on watching for what we've been doing here. And so far, so good, man. We're waiting basically for Big Bear AI to see about a rip. That's the only trade that I really have right now. Other than we have Tesla, but we're out of 40% of that. And then AMD is now just absolutely, you know, I mean, this AMD has been so good today. That's back-to-back days. AMD will be an absolute monster here for Trader TV Live. So again, thanks for watching. Just trade momentum names, man. We talked about this early and often. Was the #1 trade on the sticky note today, and it's carrying the day for me. It's AMD.
Yeah, great look over on AMD. I'll take my first hit of the day. It's going to be on Apple, because it just broke out right through that 197 level. So I did like the top end a little bit better. So if we do get there, that's a ways away. You're talking $1.20, $1.30 till we get to yesterday's highs. And then even if it breaks those, you're talking another $1.50 before you get to the $2 level. So it's going to take a little bit of patience to wait to get back into this bad boy. IBIT was one of the longs that we had on our target. We didn't, look, it still hasn't broken down into the 104. Maybe that's not going to happen. We just bounced off 105 clean, it seems, and are breaking out this trend. So it's a little bit hard to see. If you just go, whoops, I don't even have my line drawn. We just broke a slight downward trend here. If it can hold on to 59.8 on the way back, then that gives you a chance to pull into the volume weighted average price. Don't know how much I like. You know, I'm going to throw out this VWAP. I feel like it's very skewed by some of those dark pool wicks there. So it's not really much of a target for me in terms of VWAP. I think the 106, 107 levels will be bigger. But you have now broken trend on IBIT without getting to the level that I initially wanted short. So we'll try to play this trend break here. If it ends up being a break at 60, that's just a round number. It means nothing on IBIT. I'm only looking for the dip buy back into 59.8. Let's go to Adara.
This is Make My Trip. This was an MMYT is the ticker. It's about $93, but it's actually a small cap, just under $1 billion market cap. Announcing this morning a proposed offering of 14 million ordinary shares and $1.25 billion storing convertible notes. This one popped up on my volume scanner. One to watch here, a bit of a double bottom as well for MMYT. Back to you.
Like, shout out to my friend Skull there in the chat. Like, I don't know what secrets you want me to give you, man. I mean, I'm doing what I'm doing, and we're doing it every day. And I mean, it even started with the sticky note, giving you the exact trades that I'm looking at, right? So I think the key to everything, though, is your share size and being comfortable doing that, because, you know, you could be 1 for 5 or something like that on the day and still be green, or you could be 1 for 5 wrong and still be red, that type of thing, right? So a lot of it is in how comfortable you are and in your share size, but mainly it's the ideas that you need to have. So right now we are short Tesla right here, going against 325. If we break through that 325 area on TSLA, we're gone. But most of it is also having confidence in your abilities, right? We talked about, Adara actually coined something called Seanfidence, and it's just about having that kind of stuff. Like, there's our in on AMD, there's our reload on AMD. So we're not only do we have confidence, we have patience, we have the ability to take breakouts. We have I have the ability, just talking about myself, trade Big Bear AI, trade AMD, trade Tesla, trade Palantir, trade RCAT, HCHR. You've seen me trade. You see me trade GameStop and DJT. Just playing the names, and if we're red on them, I tell you, and if we're red on the day, tell you. So I don't think we're really hiding anything right there. Just try to follow. Like, here's my Tesla trade, right? We just took a short right there at 324. So bang. If we can get a fill to the downside, it would be a money trade. But where do you want to get the outs? I could have just bid out right there at 323.50. Didn't do it. Will it cost me? Maybe. So these are the little decisions that you make intraday that make the difference. And I'm glad that you guys are here with us. That is for sure. What's up, A?
News on COIN. Coinbase here reportedly seeking approval from the United States SEC here, Security Exchange Commission, to offer blockchain-based stocks. Keep an eye here on COIN. Apparently looking to offer some blockchain-based stocks. Back to you.
Blockchain-based, I didn't catch the last part of that, but maybe if you can repeat that, or just throw it in the chat for me there. Didn't catch all of that. But Coinbase is relatively strong. I like IBIT a little bit here. I like trying to stick to, it's not the underlying in this particular case. I fall into that sometimes. I know Joe likes to make that term. It is the underlying to the crypto market, in my opinion, but not in this particular case when you're talking about the Robinhoods, when you're talking about the Coinbases of the world. It does look like it wants to make a breakout of that pre-market high. That's at about 60.12. I'm still sitting bid 580 if we can get it. The other thing I'm a little bit concerned about with a Sunrun is that First Solar is yet to break. It is still trending higher, now almost at pre-market highs, and Run is just kind of chilling out at that 560 on a lower high. So I'm giving it one more chance to break down and give us the low of the day. But at some point, you got to recognize maybe we're in like a bit of a relief rally here in the overall space. And if we can't break this 560 this time, there's just somebody refreshing the level, meaning it hits the level, whatever amount of shares are there, they just get put back. It's not an iceberg or anything. They just keep buying at 60 and 61. I say they loosely meaning anybody. So if we can't break that soon, I'm going to jump out of this and not even reload it back at that top, which has been slightly above the volume weighted average price into 590. You just got to be a little bit cautious with it given the kind of strength that I'm seeing in the other names within the group. As far as the chip name that hasn't given me an entry, still waiting. I have an order at Micron at 122. That's the volume weighted average price. It is about to break trend, but I'm not thinking short. I'm thinking that gets me an entry point on this trend break back into VWAP. And if it happens at lunchtime, it happens at lunchtime. If it happens at 11 o'clock, don't mind joining this trend wherever. I think this daily chart looks fantastic on MU. So as long as it keeps on putting in green days, I want to look for that long. Great trend break on the higher time frame. I don't think it gets to 135 today, but I think all roads are leading back to a test of that level.
All right, I'm gonna ask Randy for another call. We're here at Randy reload. All right, we'll see if we can get it at that. Right now, the reason why we say reloaded is because, again, we did have a nice little bull run situation happening on AMD off of, again, a reload. Like it came right back into view up. We took that trade. All right, what's going on with apps? APPS. My bed's already made sort of right here. We're going to stop out at Tesla if it gets up to 326. I'm going to give it a little bit more room. We're really light on this trade. So going to see if I can get some 325 half and then get out at 326. So just giving you a little bit of a plan of action there on that. Apps, again, looks like it does want to fade off that $7 mark. The reason why I bring it up is because we were up here before. We did take that out. So that's 685. So right now that we retested that 715, I'm pretty confident, not confident, I mean, I'm not in the trade, but I would think that this 715, or is it 715 or 716? Right, it's called 718. The high of the day there, 718 right now. If you're going to get into a short, I would think that, again, we always talk about being responsible with your positions. Make sure you're doing the best with them. Watch out for the stop there at 717. We talked about Sunrun. Neil is still in that, so we do like, oh, that's climbing higher and higher there. So, okay, we'll have to watch out for that one. But AMD is one of the best
What's
right
going
here.
higher?
No, I was just saying, no, because I saw you were short of every 577, 583, 566. So Sunrun, I want to look at it, but you're on it right now. So, all right, there it is, man. Here we go. It's a nice little trade right now for AMD. Now $1.20 in the money, looking to break through 130. So great reload take there on advanced micro devices. Let's see what winds up happening now. Looks like we're trying to get lower right now, or lower off of 130. But there's the break. So we get some out. We did not take the break. there of 130. So let's see if we have that break and fake sort of thing is what I was getting at there if we go lower on it. But right now, there it goes, man. We're looking right now for $2 now in the money. And again, it's your #1 trade idea. If you're only going to make one trade, we talked about being patient today. We always talk about being patient. Being patient is the #1 thing that you could be as a trader, patient and confident. And there's AMD 127. How does that look? That's in our account today. So is the 128. So both of these names right there are in the account today. The Big Bear AI is in the account at 415. And then Apple, I know Neil took a swing at that, but I haven't looked at it yet, so we'll do that. But there's a nice move upside right now for our friend and mine for sure, Advanced Micro Devices. Advanced Money, Joe, duplicator. We have really nailed this one. It's Trader TV's #1 symbol over the last couple of days. It's Advanced Micro Devices, and it's probably your #1 symbol too, if you're an active trader, but maybe not. All right, so let's go back over to Adair and find out what's going on over there.
Interesting story here on TSLA. We're going to have to wait, I guess, to find more details on this and the possible implications. But Business Insider reporting that Tesla is planning to shut down Model Y and Cybertruck production over the week of July 4th. So I guess potential production shutdown, unclear as to why, unclear as to, I guess, how that's going to work. But either way, TSLA on watch apparently shutting down temporarily Model Y and Cybertruck production for July 4th. I'm going to look more into this. If I find out any details, I'll let you guys know, but worth noting regardless. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Adara. So, look, run is actually right at that 560 level. This is where I said it's put up or shut up. There's a refresher at this level. They just bounced once on the 3-minute. It's bouncing a second time. Our initial short into VWAP, that's the best we got. It came right back into the prior high. We took it once in front of that prior high with our stop right underneath it. Check that, right above it because we're short. So I needed this break of 560. That's pretty much it. I'm looking low of the day if it breaks that level. I think we get to a new fresh low, but keeping in mind, this is the 52-week low. So that was the target the entire time. This low of the day is the 52-week low. We'll play it into there and just be happy we can get it, make the next trade wherever it does apply itself. NVIDIA tried to hold 145. There's still someone dumping it every time it gets to that price. As I said earlier, the only way I want this one long is hold above 145. Buyers above means closing candles on a 3-minute above 145. That means that you're actually getting some wins and some buyers winning above that price. Once that takes place, I think NVIDIA can join the charge that AMD is clearly on. All right, so there's this temporary break on Sunrun at 560, but I'm sitting low of the day to complete that trade and then move on to the next. Thank you, Jason, for the super chat in here. We appreciate you. Appreciate all the viewers for sure. Thank you to the whole team. You all make trading so much fun. QQ, is there any place for trailing stops for risk management in day trading, and what other strategies should I think about? Of course there's a place for trailing stops. I just think you have to find what works for you. Some people like to trail, like, I don't know, like let's say Sunrun, like just happen to have it up. Maybe it's like they'll trail it like 10 cents. If it goes 10 cents from the best it ever was in the money, you put a trailing stop in that way, or a percentage amount. When I say a trailing stop, usually what I actually mean is I'm just now putting a stop order somewhere other than negative, but I like to use key levels. So when I know that that 560 guy was there before, I might move my stop instead of at the high here back into this prior bar, knowing that if the buyers emerge back where there was support, I just want to get out for that reason. So I don't use like percentages or anything like that. I just usually use key levels once you get past them for some trails. Let's go to Adara. Time for the small cap recap.
IWM might be a dollar club as well if for anyone who went long here off the open. We had this nice push to the upside. Right now pushing a little bit lower, but nicely above 210s. This one gap down. We know the market a little bit weaker as well. And keep an eye on the IWM tomorrow, guys, because at 2 p.m. we do get the Fed interest rate decision. We know these small caps are very rate sensitive, so the Russell could be something to watch out for if you're looking for that type of play. Apps here, APPS Digital Turbine. This one is a small capper here, just under $1 billion market cap, I believe. Nice push to the upside on earnings. They beat on EPS and sales. Guidance is a little bit mixed. Near days highs for APPS. Then we've got Pure Cycle, PCT. PCT, notably here, has a 30.7% short float. It's rallied in the past. Pure Cycle announcing that they've raised $300 million to support global expansion towards, I guess, one of their capacity goals, and they're targeting $600 million annual EBITDA by 2030. Last but not least here, PCSA, that's Processa Pharmaceuticals, signing a binding term sheet agreement allowing Intact Therapeutics to license, I guess, one of their drug candidates. So lots of small caps to watch out for. As I mentioned earlier, if you're looking for something a little bit more expensive, there's MMYT moving off of lows here after announcing an offering. Make sure to like and subscribe. We send you back to the guys.
The longs we have are at day's high. The shorts we have are pumping lower. I mean, Tesla right now joins the club. It honestly feels like stuff we're touching is starting to turn into gold. So I got to buy a lottery ticket here. There's the short on Tesla. We discussed it in depth there. So yeah, here we go. Nice downside play, man. $1.25 now in the money. And we'll wait to see if we can get a 322.60 fill. So basically right here, if we can make one more push down, we are on the bid somewhere in here, hopefully looking for that fill. Ooh, just bounced. Did I get that? No, we're at 60s even. So hopefully one more push down and we'll be able to get that. Just a wipe of the bid, and we're getting out one more time for $1.20 in the money there right now on T. We might have not got it. I'm going to swipe it up a little bit here. That's too bad, man. It went to 61s. We were at 60 there. Sometimes that stuff does happen, but it doesn't even matter. It does. I mean, we want to get all the fills, but look at this AMD trade again. Now we're $3 in the money off that low. Yesterday we took about 10 when we started to rip higher, but right now let's see if AMD continues to get beyond one right now, breaking higher and higher and higher. I'm going to get, there we go. We just take another fill on Tesla. So I just punched out some at 323 there. So, you know, it sucks to have missed that level that we wanted, but maybe we do come back in and we'll get an 80 fill instead of a 60 fill there on Tesla. That's $1 and change in the money. This is $1.80. We've taken about, you know, that was 127. Those are 129.50s. That's 250. Pulls back in. That's another $1.90 right there. So let's go 250 plus $1.90. We've taken about $5 or so in total on advanced micro devices. So yeah, man, I mean, it's really just all good as we continue to watch out for some of these names and continue to trade our book. We trade our book, we trade our plan, and we trade it aggressively. That's how we trade. That's how I trade. And so far, so good, including Big Bear AI right now, right back to the highs again. Here comes Tesla. There goes AMD. It's all working now, and we're pretty proud of the stuff that we've been showing you here today. So let's throw it over to Neil, and he's going to tell you about something.
Yes, sir. We get a behind-the-scenes look at Trade the Pool. The dashboard tracks your progress in real time, live stats, profit, and more. You can break down every trade, see your entry, exit, and how it played out on the chart. Check the certificates page for your full summary, achievements, and payouts. In this clip, that's Michael T's already earned over $75,000 in total payouts. Trade the Pool gives you the tools and the capital to go further. Ready to level up? Visit tradethepool.com or scan the QR code that you see on the screen there. Quickly before we go to, I know we're going to go to Adair in a quick little second, but just got into IBIT on the dip. I said, I am not chasing this move when it broke the trend back into the 60 level. I didn't really care about that on IBIT. I wanted to play back into 105, which bounced before. So I'm getting to the long in front of that. It's 105 on Bitcoin. Obviously on IBIT, it's kind of randomly like 59.70 or so. So we're back into the dip on that. Let's go to Adara at the screen, at the desk.
NVAX popping and dropping here. Novavax, apparently the FDA here, I'm actually reading the memo. They just posted a review memo for one of the company's vaccines. Looks like apparently it was well received here. They said in their opinion, the application should be approved. So good look here for NVAX. 35% short float for this one, guys. Back to you.
Makes sense.
All righty. Yeah, let's just continue to watch out what we're doing here. Yeah, so Big Bear AI. You know, there's the 415 break. We had that early. Nice move to the upside right there. Tesla's falling, but not super crazy here. I mean, sure, it's $1. I mean, it's $1 in the money. We're trying to bid 80s, so if we can get that, then great. And then we empty. There it is. Yes, man. Yes. All right, and we're lighter. I mean, I punched out last time. I was a little bit nervous on AMD, and it wasn't the right call. But we just We've gotten it all out, man. Like that 130, we didn't take the 130 break thinking that it was a little bit too much there, but yeah, still trying to go there again and again and again. So we'll take some more out there on AMD, and then just watch out for some of these trades that we have in on today. So I don't know, BMRA, I saw someone talk about that. Again, I'm like more in chill mode again here. There would BMRA. There's no volume. Come on. All right.
Oklow's really. Oklow's doing a ton of volume. That shows up on your volume scanners. You're going to see that one popping up for sure. OKLO, but it's not really breaking out. Still, V-shaped recovery is extremely bullish, and it just put in. Sometimes we say this, and we're actually just saying that this morning as we were in early. Zoom out. If you're looking for where to dip, sometimes just respect prior day levels. OKLO bounces right off of yesterday's low. And if this can do the old V-shaped breakout, as I said, I think that's incredibly bullish. I just heard in my ear that Jimmy's going, GameStop is going again, sometimes affectionately referred to as Jimmy, but it is not through yesterday's high yet. I think yet is going to be the key. This is a nice relief rally in GameStop. Any way you look at it, it's stair-stepping up from the lows. A breakout here at 23.50 looks really good. Yeah, that yesterday's high actually coincides with where it dumped at the open on the 12th. So that 23.5 looks really good for a breakout trade. Just a quick little update. I like VWAP. I think VWAP might be wrong on one of my charts here on IBIT. Oh, no, it's okay. It's correct. All right, this is now correct. So if we get into the volume-weighted average price, Bitcoin's been weak. Let's go with the trend break into VWAP, and if we can get that, then we look for the breakout trade later on IBIT. I did just take some at 59.9, then we'll take some out after it breaks the $60 level. But I'm liking this GameStop. It's been a super strong name recently. 23.5 is not yesterday's high, but it's the first even dollar number once you get past that. So I think this has got a lot of room to rally, even back into this 24 even to 24.30 candle that you saw back on the 12th I was referencing. We're going to get a stop order back through this breakout, and maybe there'll be some news in crypto that can make it fly even further. Adara?
I want to mention here too, CRM, a little pop here, gave up pretty much all of that move, sharp move to the upside here anyway. Salesforce, according to Bloomberg, increasing the price for many of its products. So potential product increase here on launch for CRM pushing higher. We did have some crypto news earlier. It wasn't hugely market moving, but worth talking about again. Coinbase was in watch here earlier today. Now, in case you missed it, reportedly, they're looking to get U.S. approval to offer blockchain-based stocks. So COIN potentially with some more stock offerings on watch, especially related to blockchain. Let's take a look here at BTC itself, which is still kind of waffling here within this area around that 105,000. We did make a slightly lower high in the daily chart around that 110,000 level. I wouldn't say quite yet that we've made a lower high as of yesterday, but we did struggle with 110,000. In fact, according to this chart here on TradingView, looks like we didn't even get to 109,000 yesterday. So let's see if we're able to reclaim 110,000. We've made higher lows here since that bounce at 100,000, which looks like a potentially promising look. Ethereum. Let's take a look at this one, down about 3% here, below 2,600. XRP down 2%. Solana, 4% to the downside. Doge, Cardano, both down about 3.5%. So a bit of a sell-off today across the world in crypto. Looking a bit distinctly different from what the market's doing right now. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, the market's like bull flagging, actually, when you look at the Nasdaq. And I'll get there in a quick little second, but trend in, trend out is one of the things I like. If you break a trend to get short, like in run the second time, then I want to play that trend in both ways. So acknowledge it did just close breaking the trend line. Whenever that happens, I put my stop at the prior high was where my stop was anyways. But once what it did just here, break the low, I move the stop into this prior bar. So it breaks about 555. I get out. This also gives me a chance to hold past the close. The low of the day here on run. But I'm now just trailing it. I want to be out if it breaks this 555, allowing me a chance to maybe jump back in. And if I still like to trade at 580, 590, we can go short another time here. Just remember, as I was saying earlier, like First Solar was holding above the volume weighted average price and trending back into the upside. And that's one of the leaders of the group. It's now breaking down. So if this is going to lose VWAP, I want to give a chance for run to lose the low of the day there as it does continue to work down. Trying to reload some IBIT on the way back into the volume weighted average price, pick up some at 580. I'm stopping out underneath the it's about 572-ish or so. We got our stop out underneath that. Still nothing, no break on GameStop, and still no pullback into the volume weighted average price yet on Micron, but it is headed down there. It's already dropped half the way. Just another push down, and I think this one gets into VWAP here as the chips have been on an absolute rally. And I see in the chat like a lot of names in here, people talking about oil. We have not looked at oil at all today, but one name within the space that usually is pretty heavily talked about here and looking pretty strong, XOM. I know Randy's former. I'm a CVX guy. I like Chevron a little bit better, but hold clean of the 200-period moving average. I think that's a good, nice little base for XOM. And the reason I say that over the one that I'm in, you know, I could talk my own book. I mean, I own shares of CVX, not XOM. When this eventually decides it wants to load up here, it's distinctly different. It's underneath its 200-period moving average. So XOM, to me, is the one that's relatively strong, at least in the short term. Good look for XOM if you happen to have bought that dip yesterday when the market rallied.
All right, yeah, just looking around. Thank you for watching again here today, guys. Hit the like and the subscribe. Get this really moving around here for us. Yeah, so we're getting lighter on everything. AMD again at its days high. So we're just doing it. We did cover, I have about 20%. So on the AMD trade, I have about 10% left. I don't have very much left. We got a lot out there at 130. I mean, our long is 128 and change. Looks like 130 might be the top. So I'm going to be happy with having less than 10% left. I have 8% left on this trade. So if you guys were wondering about that, you can always ask us how much we have left on any of our positions, of course. BBAI, 25% left on Big Bear AI. Looking to see if it wants to moon a little bit here. It's already mooned. I mean, we're happy with what it's doing right now, but we'd like it to get back up to there, 434 and change. So I do have an offer at 29s. That's my next area. And then we'll wait to see about a break a little bit higher than that. This Tesla trade, we got a whole bunch out there at 323. So, you know, hoping that we can get some more out there near that 323 area. But I don't, you know, my next bid on Tesla is 322.50. So I'm not trying to scalp out of anything right now. Again, I know I say it because I think it's important you guys know, like, it's been a pretty good day. I don't have any losing trades on, and it's been so far so good. Green day, and that could turn around, right? If Tesla does break, we're waiting for 326 at some point to break. If it does, that's what we're waiting for. But if you wanted to scan that QR code right there, come on, let's go, Tesla. You get your first month for free with eSignal. So we're waiving fees, trade smarter, not harder, upgrade to an elite experience with your analyze, capitalize, and strategize with eSignal. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights. I use their scanners every single day. I use the charting. There's the back testing. There's the ability to connect to 50 plus brokers. You can chart 500 or at least quote 500 symbols at once. So if that's not impressive, then I don't know what is. So join today, scan that QR, get involved with eSignal, first month free. And again, every single market that you're looking for, they most likely have data for. So it's an entitlement-based program. You're not just sitting there like, you know, I wish I could see this or that. You tell them what you want. It's all fee associated, right? So you let them know and they'll try their best to help you out with all of that. So make sure you do message eSignal, ASAP. Okay, look, man, I'm gonna get some more out. I'm bidding ahead. There we go. I just bid, I was gonna say I'm bidding 26s ahead of 25. We take another fill right there on Tesla. I'm at the highest spot I've been at all day here right now. And just been doing well with what we've been talking about. So let's just keep the momentum going. We looked at a lot of different names here, but Palantir, I guess, gets up to the 200 period, something to talk about there. You mentioned Oklo. Here's SMR again. Nice move to start the day to the downside. Finds a base at 41.50. Maybe not a base, but a bottom. And look where that bottom was, man. Yesterday's close. So it comes right into yesterday's levels and then bounces a little bit. So SMR making a move right now off of yesterday. So 43.50 or so here, looking like a decent short.
Before we go to Adair.
Yeah, that's okay. We're not gonna have to go right away. Just let's get down Tesla and let's watch out for AMD. Now underneath 130. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, before we go to Adair, Reddit has given back $12 in an almost straight line to the downside here. This is the opening range bottoms at 133. This is the kind of mean reversion trade that is, to me, worth taking a shot. As long as it's holding the open range bottom, check that, like 132.40 is the actual low. You can see it right in there. If it breaks this trend line, I'm going to look for the pullback into the volume weighted average price. So Reddit, which had been so incredibly strong, I mean, it's still up 6%, big time movement to the downside for RDDT. Let's go to Adara.
Keep an eye here on RKLB. This one, I'm not sure quite why we had this, I guess, capitulation candle here around 27, but last night after the close, we had an announcement, the company saying they're going to be launching 2 dedicated Electron missions for a confidential commercial customer. The first of these launches scheduled in 4 days, does have a 16% short float. So RKLB on watch today. Again, already giving up some of that move though. Back to you.
Rocket Labs. I know we were talking about some of the space names recently with some of our guests. Steve Talman was interested in a lot of those names. And of course, our good friend Astis was always moving around a bit. So as I said, Reddit is very close to breaking this trend. Once it does, I'm just going to look for the punch long. Sometimes it'll close in that bar, and then if there's a crazy move like $1 or $2, and I can't get the entry off of the prior bar break, I don't want to chase it $2, $3. It doesn't make sense. 135 to 140 is VWAP, so you want to get it within the first dollar of that move, or almost not get it at all. All right, Micron is that's the other thing worth looking at that I'm not into yet. It is now breaking down with the market back into VWAP. This is the first time since the open that this is threatening to get into the volume weighted average price. So 122 almost exactly is the volume weighted average price. That makes it a little bit easy to sit around and wait for it to get down there. I'm actually just going to get an order. I'll get an order out there pretty much exactly at even, because I don't want to miss the entry into Reddit here. And let me just redraw that trend line so you can see visually. And I got a question about drawing trend lines. It's not a science. It's more of like a draw a line of best fit and make sure it has as many contacts as possible. That's the thing. If it's not really connecting with the majority of your candles, then to me, your trend line doesn't really matter that much. But there's your close above the trend line and then breaking the prior bar high almost instantaneously here on Reddit. The low gives it about $1. VWAP's all the way up about, I said $5. It's pretty much almost that exactly. And then exit, I'm looking about 136.5. That's right into this resistance on Reddit. So if it breaks the prior bar candle, that's always my out when you're going against the grain. I should say.
All right, so there we go. Early position there on Reddit. Good look there as it fallen back in. You know, we want to look at, like Neil said, as many names as possible if they're lining up, right? Affirm keeps on popping up for no reason. Texas Instruments keeps popping up. Nothing going on there. I apologize. What I'm actually doing is checking out some of these alerts that are popping up here on eSignal. Mara, let me have a quick look to see what's going on there with Mara. See, Apple's flashing right now as well. So Mara right there trying to break through $15. AAPL, a good little level here for Apple must be in play, 197.50. Yeah, breaking right there, the 200 period moving average. So a moving average cross happening right now on Apple. We wanted Apple up here at 198.50. It almost came in. We should have got 198. There today. So, but we don't have Apple. Neil had it earlier, but I'm not on it right now. We did get out of more AMD at these levels, 129.50, and then Big Bear's doing its own thing, and then maybe Tesla pulls back again. I don't know. Tesla is remaining pretty strong up here. I only want to reshort here. If we can get up to 325, I'll reshort it. Otherwise, let's hold this one and see if we can make something special. 322.50 for Tesla. With 20 minutes left, let's go over and talk to Adara.
Also, just to let you guys know, here's some news coming through. German Chancellor Merz telling apparently a broadcaster that he, the EU here, are expecting to deal with the U.S. with regards to tariff. before the end of the summer. So it looks like they're expecting, I guess, hopefully by August, some kind of tariff resolution, according to Chancellor Merz of Germany. Let's talk here about these sectors. Health technology, really red here. We know not only are these pharma tariffs on watch, Trump saying once again that he's expecting these to come into effect very soon, but also we have some reports that the Trump administration is going to be cracking down on pharma ads on TV. Consumer services red, consumer durables red, consumer non-durables also red here. Communication sharply to the downside. TMUS here, T-Mobile, pretty red here. This one, in case you missed it, SoftBank selling about $4.9 billion worth of the company's shares, also apparently at a lower price than around where they were trading. So interesting note there. Energy minerals green as the geopolitical tensions continue to unfold. And then we have tech services, actually not super directional today, unless you're looking at some of these semiconductors. AMD and Micron, both to the upside. Intel also up about 1%. Technology services a little bit more mixed here. Oracle green after selling off a little bit yesterday. Microsoft actually red as, I guess, apparently a bit of a dispute with OpenAI is unfolding. And then Adobe sharply to the downside, down about 3% plus on earnings day 3. Back to you.
Yeah, Adobe was one a lot of people in the chat were interested in yesterday, and we didn't quite get around to looking at it. It's not it's not a heavily day traded stock, sometimes due to the price. Just able to hold on, was red at the $0.50 there. It pulls right back in, doesn't break that $0.50. I think if you're using stops on Reddit, just a quick note, it's got about a 15 to 20 cent spread. Our stop orders throw effectively market orders out there, but there was a comment, it was something yesterday that got said, and I meant to make a comment about it. If you're crossing on a stock at a bare minimum in terms of a limit order, if a stock has a spread of 10 to 15 cents, you want to make sure that you're crossing more than that, not just to that number, because you don't want to miss. Getting into position, if you miss it, that means you're just not in position. But getting out of position in a loser, you don't want to miss that fill. Now, we effectively use market orders. Our stop orders that are automatic, if it breaks this low, it fires an order literally as far as I think you're allowed to cross. Sometimes it's like a few percentage points. So this is effectively a market order if I get out. But I'm willing to miss an entry point. If you see me miss a breakout trade, you can live to fight another day because you didn't get an entry. But you don't want to miss an exit point. So I find if you're not using market orders here, use the most aggressive limit order as possible because you're just trying to get out of position. Anyways, I just want to throw that out there. It didn't actually stop out underneath the $0.50, but had it, our orders, I forget the exact amount that order crosses to, but effectively, it's as much as the market's going to allow you. So I'm going to zoom back in and show you the bottoming tail candle that just happened on Sunrun. Looks like we just held right at that 540 level. I have a trail now into 555. It does seem like it's trending towards breaking that low, so I'm just going to let it fly. If it breaks the low of the day, we'll just see how far it can go. If we never see VWAP again, fantastic. If we do, then I'm out if it breaks that 555. And Micron's starting to get down into VWAP. It's close. Almost there, just stay on target. Strong trend up in most of the chip names here, not everything, because NVIDIA's not doing anything. But now pulling back into the volume weighted average price is Micron. Let's see if we can't get involved, if it can show me some kind of bounce.
Okay, yeah, AMD did go into VWAP, but I didn't take it this time. We took it last time, didn't take it this time. I'm going to try the 200 period with a short shelf life. So if that can happen, we're going to be doing that as well. All right, so that's that. What's going on with SMCI? SMCI, again, another decent name here. I believe Brian, who should be joining me tonight, he was talking a little bit about SMCI, I believe, last week. Again, another name that's pretty bar-coded. I chose Marvell to go into the long term, or into, I mean, I can hold it for as long as I want, but it was into the TFSA, trying to maybe get out of some of that if it gets up to $75, $76. I think the same thing for SMCI. Trying to base out right now. This looks like a great long, honestly, if we can hold this 50 period, which we've been doing. Anything into $40 looks pretty good to me, up to upside there of 20% into 48. So I think SMCI working out. But today, you know, downside, the market's been like, I mean, whatever, man. I mean, I know I talk about these trades maybe a little bit too much, but whatever. We've had some good ones here. I'm looking for the do something. There it is right now. So waiting to have this market really do something right now. I mean, we opened up with a big candle to the upside, and that's where we are right now. So here's the first candle. Here's where we are right now. Since then, we've made it back into the lows of the day. into the highs and made new highs of the day, and then fall right back into VWAP again. So I think the rhetoric of trying to go long a little bit makes some sense there early. The only stock that we did take an L on, sorry, my bad, was Palantir, and it was right there for 20 cents. That was in and out. Again, trying to play long. We know that Palantir can have that. Yesterday we took $3 or $4, so to lose 15 cents today. Okay, so far so good on that one. Neil's on Reddit. I'm on Tesla, which is finally against us. So right now, not against us P&L wise. It is against me now, but we've already taken profit. I have about 15 to 20% left. You guys know what we're talking about loading this thing back up again. It's going to have to get near 326. So now that's come down. So now 325.50 here for Tesla. It's actually looking to build a base, which it's doing now at 323s. So we have a bunch of outs right here. They're looking good to me right now, but we're going to climb up a little bit, then use 326 as our out. So if we can break above that 326 area, then we're going to get out, looking to get some more short at 325.50. So hopefully that'll come in, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. But that's something that we're looking at for sure right there. Big Bear AI, this is going to be PL2 right now today, as it's a face slapper there. Big Bear AI has never really gone against me, and right now back into that positive trade. Again, I'm waiting at 29. I might as well just take a 27 if we can get it. Nice move up there. We were just at 22, 23. And then again, you know, you open your eyes, close your eyes, and you get a nice little PL win. Looking at what was the cause of it, it's Big Bear AI. There's the move right back there to the upside. We still have 25% of this. There we go. All right, so we just got filled there. So nice out there on Big Bear AI. So part out there at 27. So let's just keep on doing that. AMD, not really a fail on the reload. Let me take out a piece here at 41 on advanced micro devices. Did we just miss that? Hopefully we did not. One more push there. There it is. Oh, we got it. So nice move there on AMD. Now we'll just wait to see if Tesla wants to fade out. But hey, man, there's 127. There's 128.50. There's boom goes the dynamite. It's been a big week, and it's only Tuesday so far on AMD. We'll see if there's any more work to be done there. We did not reload, and we probably should have, again on Tesla. Waiting for higher, man. 325.50 for TSLA. Hopefully that one will come in. But that's what I'm waiting for. And then, again, we talked about Digital Turbine apps.
It broke.
Oh, AAPS, isn't it? Oh, it's
APPS.
APPS, okay.
Right? Yes.
Yep, that's right. APPS. So there it goes, breaking the day's high of 715. Looks like it wants to go longer. And now, I guess, instead of using that high, which we were saying as you're out, you would have just got stopped out of that one. Yeah, maybe now if you're long, you just use this as you're out. But apps, Digital Turbine going one way, not like the others. And right now, happy to say it because of that Big Bear AI. Once again, we're hovering around the highest we've been at all day there. So nice move back up in the market. Hopefully that Reddit will work out. Sunrun, Reddit, BBAI, AMD, and Tesla. Remember though, if you're following me, it's all about the sticky note because we have so far AMD, Tesla, and Big Bear AI. Top three names here for me, all on the board. So let's go over to Dara, talk to her.
We're going to take a look here at CERO. That's Cero Therapeutics, a name that we might see a little bit on the midday. This is a small cap runner up more than 200%. They received FDA orphan drug designation on Monday for the treatment of acute myeloid leukemia. Let's keep an eye here on CERO, about a 12%, just under 12% short float for this one. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Adair. I know a few people in the chat mentioning that name as well. Mike P. DeRider saying they just got out of CRO. I actually, just a reminder, because when you said app was breaking out there, Digital Turbine is breaking out, I still have the break long for GME at 23.5. It just hasn't happened yet. Consolidative top, looks like it wants to go, not really getting any juice on it yet, but it just tagged 47s and pulled back in it. So decent chance that you're getting a trend into that break, and then eventually we get the long. Assuming it makes a break. If it never makes a break, then I don't get it at GameStop, and I'll evaluate VWAP if we ever get a shot at the volume-weighted average price. Speaking of which, Micron now closing above the volume-weighted average price. So there's your bounce. Here's your dip back in. I'm not going to wait for 22s. I'll just sit on the quarter level, see if we can't grab it. Stop already in. When I saw it make that bounce here, I threw a stop underneath 122. And now we'll try to catch the way back. I didn't want it on the way up. See that candle chasing it all the way up, 50, 60 cents? I'd rather risk it a little bit closer to the vest here at this time of day because this isn't the optimal, it's not the optimal time for the entry. Well, it's not it's the optimal time for a VWAP bounce, but it's not the optimal time to be essentially all in because it hasn't broken this downward trend that you have seeing here. And it's not that trend is everything, but if I'm in off of VWAP, at the end of the day, I'm risking less than I would risk on what I think is a bigger opportunity. Like Reddit doesn't work, but you have to, and Sean says this, I say it a different way. I don't care what Reddit does relative to Tesla if I was in Tesla, Apple if I was in Apple. This trade is a very specific, I know exactly what my risk to reward is. I'm in here, I'm out here, I take first profit here at about $1.20, I take second profit there at about $4.50. So that means my average out if it goes to VWAP is about $2.80 to $3. And so that my risk in there of $1, I'm trying to get 2 to 2.5 to 1. So that's what I'm looking for on this particular trade. That trade is that trade. So I'm going to take a shot on this kind of a mean reversion. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But that's my risk to reward, knowing specifically what I'm looking for. I'm not holding it past that stop. You don't see me average into these. It's a very binary style trade. And that's what I like. I love binary trades because then it just keeps you disciplined. And overall, from what I've found, if you're trying to be a consistent trader, then you want to make sure in that stock, in that trade, was my risk to reward good? If answer yes, fine, do it again. But I'm not going to sit here trying to turn a trade in Reddit into something similar on, say, like Sunrun's not Reddit or Apple's not Reddit. Neither one of those trades were trend reversions where the stock had just dropped $12 like we just had. And I do believe, okay, looks like we are ready. We have our good friend, Mr. Mendel. Jeff, locked and loaded, ready to go. Jeff Mendel, good friend from OTC Markets, where things I hear are going to the moon, especially because now we're on board with it as well.
That is correct. Yes, guys. Good to see you. Good to see our friends up at Select Vantage and Day Trade the World and everything on board Moon, seeing some volume come in. Those names, right? I mean, the best part is it's like you guys are talking about all the names like right now, like Apple, Tesla, right, NVIDIA, AMD that are trading overnight on Moon. So, for those of you that don't know, Moon is trading 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. New York time, and all listed securities. We've been up for a couple of months now, and it's like I said, every week we have new participants in there. We have more people trading, looking for liquidity, and it's if you don't have access to it now and you are interested in trading during that time period, definitely ask your broker if they have access or for access to it, and it's great to grow with you guys.
And we appreciate it so much. I put the page up there, OTC Markets, the info page, if you want to be able to grab it. And I'll throw it in the chat as well for everybody to be able to see. And I'm going to highlight something anyways that I've found that's pretty valuable, Jeff. And this is talking to anybody, whether you trade overall, I have to add my entitlements for Moon, but just from a charting standpoint, you can always look at the aftermarket, whether it's through OTC or Blue Ocean, and sometimes find key price levels in there. Looking at Alibaba, I can see like when you see 117.5 in the overnight, and a lot of times you'll look at those price levels and see how key they can be. Like you have a resistance level in the aftermarket, and then it holds up as resistance during the day, and you're able to sort of trade off of that. So, Jeff, there's all kinds of opportunities out there, not just in the trading aspect, but just being able to see where the liquidity is in the market, sometimes in real time. A seller overnight could turn into a seller intraday, as just an example there with Alibaba. But in particular, what names have stood out to you in the early going? Obviously, we have a lot of news going on overnight on an everyday basis. The Chinese names are going to stand out. I know we keep talking about them, but has anything stood out to you just in terms of U.S. names in volume so far for Moon?
So, to kind of keep it, a little bit more general, we've definitely seen, some names that are involved in, oil, right? So things that are attached to the price of oil, right? And not just ETFs, and so just think of some of those in general, especially over the past over the past few days. And then, I mentioned them already: Nvidia, Tesla, SPY. A lot of the leveraged ETFs seem to be trading a decent amount as well too. And so, it's a pretty big mix. A lot of it is very news driven. Just for the reason why I said the oil stocks, right? And then, a name that keeps popping up is Robinhood. We see trades going that off in that every night. And so I think it's just, kind of very specific to what's going on in the world. And the nice part about it is, though, it's like, you said it, right? People are just waiting for their spots to hit as well too, and that's the nice thing about it, being able to log on and jump into something, and if it happens to be trading at a level that it hasn't during the daytime, or at least hasn't during the daytime yet, that gives you the ability to go out there and do it.
100%, a great look there. And Robinhood's another fantastic example. You hit them while they are absolutely hot. And speaking of hot, I know Sean is looking at something which is very important that you want to see for OTC in general.
Yeah, what's up, Jeff? How's it going over there?
Hey, man, what's up?
Just chilling.
We're looking at we're looking at BYD today.
Yeah, I was trying to look. Well, right now the market. I was going over to most active here, and then for some reason, I don't know if my page is cached or something like that, but I can't click on this little trades thing here. But I did want to highlight to everybody that if you do go over to OTC markets, market activity, current market, you do get a nice, here we go. All right. You do get a nice look of what's been trading today, Fannie Mae. It actually hasn't been too hot right now, OTC, but I want to remind everybody as we go, Nintendo, some of the ADRs that we may be looking at, you highlighted, I highlighted it last week, MTPLF, still near the top of this, 10-cent as well. As we worry about, some overseas strife, sort of, Nintendo, 10-cent there in China. So these are some names that could be looked at, especially 10-cent, as we get ready for, possible China deal. I just wanted to show FNMA again, a big name as we wait for Bill Ackman to drop another post about this. But just look at the momentum to the upside again, right? So I just don't want traders to feel like when you look at some of these levels, they will look a bit different, and some of these OTC names will trade slower. But if this is your style, man, trade 5, 10, 15,000 shares, something like that, because you can get a few pennies on these. And also, if you're trading here at Real Trading, Jeff, we do have a rebate structure. So we have the maker-taker rebate as well. So if you are looking to get some rebates, you can sit at 20, sit at 19, and market make these names. Is that something that you see with order flow in names like FNMA, FMCC, and others?
Well, you highlighted the maker-taker pricing model, right? And so if that's a fee structure that you have with your broker, right, and they pass that back along, you get a rebate for adding that liquidity to the bid, the offer. And so I think we were highlighting OTCN, right? Yep. And so if you check out OTCN and FNMA, right, it's part of the inside quote there. And so, the nice thing about that is you don't just, you aren't limited to just taking liquidity to crossing the spread. You can passively sit at your price points. You can work an order throughout the day. You can even send in midpoints as well too. Okay. You can send in reserve orders. So if you want to do a larger size, but you don't think it's appropriate to be fully out loud in it, you can send in that reserve, right? And so you can display, for example, if you have a 5,000 share order and you only want to display 1,000 of it at a time, you can put that out there and say, hey, display 1,000 shares of this 5,000 share order. You can peg it to the bid. You can peg it to the offer, right? The tools that OTCN gives you are just as if you were trading in a Nasdaq name directly on an exchange. And so, you say that, Fannie Mae, this stock, it's up almost 3% today.
I know, it's crazy.
FNMA, right? And so, in a stock that's trading around $10, that's a very big move for someone that likes to trade with bigger size. So no matter what you're looking to do there, the platform kind of allows you to trade like you're accustomed to, in those listed names that you guys are always talking about.
Well, that's what I wanted to highlight too about bringing up the OTC. And we understand that some brokers won't have the maker-taker rebate, but for real trading, as you had mentioned, some different traders may be interested in that. And it's lightning fast execution if you hit the OTCN, right? So just like a lit gateway, we really do appreciate all of that. And then another name that we sometimes talk about, and Jeff, I don't know if yours is at the shop or what, but here's Rolls Royce. This has been a good name to look at as well. A little slower today, but when it picks up, especially when we have auto tariff news and things like that, Rolls Royce, something to look at. So it's Jeff Mendel. Let everybody know where you're located, Jeff.
New York.
That's right,
and
baby.
I'm not at the golf course today. I was yesterday, though.
Of course.
Why is that?
Of course he was.
You know where my ass was yesterday? Right here. And I'll be here tomorrow as well. But Juneteenth,
make those
happy
deals.
Juneteenth, I guess. That's a good day to maybe hit the golf course there on Juneteenth.
Holiday coming up.
But we have a market-wide closure there. So what is Blue Moon on Juneteenth, actually?
I was about to ask. Yeah.
Moon. So Moon is actually closed Wednesday evening.
Okay.
Going into Thursday, but then it reopens at 8 p.m. on Thursday. Okay. Right. And so that's kind of the holiday schedule works for. So great question. Obviously Juneteenth is a relatively new holiday for us here in the U.S. And so, the from a trading perspective, I think the U.S. might be the only major market that is closed on that day. And so, I don't know how you guys handle it, but I know Canada's open. I think, right?
Yeah.
And then
I think all of Europe's open.
The world. So, it's actually not a holiday for a lot of people in the trading trading world, which is I mean, who knows? Maybe there's some interesting opportunities on that front. But OTC markets, yes, obviously, of course, we observe Juneteenth, and same thing goes for Moon, and
Great. Okay. Well, Jeff Mendel, thank you so much. Yeah, that's why I wanted to bring that up.
No, it's a perfect question. I was going to try to say the same thing before we got you out of here.
Exactly. So I don't often ask perfect questions, so that was not a bad one.
There you go.
Cowboys over under 500 this year. What do you think?
Oh God, it's got to be over.
I think so,
that doesn't
right?
mean they're going to the playoffs.
Well, I didn't ask playoffs. Playoffs?
You thinking 9-8 then?
I think it's going to be over. I think let's go with 9 wins. How about that? Because now you got what, 18 games? No,
you've seen that. You've seen. You know the division you're in, right? Philly's okay. You guys aren't.
Great.
You guys are not. You're not better than Washington. Okay.
Ouch.
No, but you're not. The Dallas Cowboys are not better than the Washington Commanders.
They're better than the Giants.
I mean,
oof.
Well, obviously they're better than the Giants. The Giants stink. But you're third in your division, so if you think that's 500 is doable, I think the Cowboys, if they have a 500 season, it's a fantastic one. I'm being dead honest. I think Pickens is a good get for you guys. Yeah. But why do you still need a running game? And
they'll get one.
Javonte Williams, you think that's the answer?
That's who they signed? I don't even know. Okay. All right, Jeff, we're going to let you go. It's 11:04 now. Thank you so much for coming through. We want to make sure that everybody checks out Moon and the OTC market. And I think a great trading opportunity, especially on Juneteenth with the different hours. So we want to thank you for coming on again. Always nice. And again, say hi to the family and good luck on the golf course whenever you're up there next. We just got to make sure when you come here that we go out one more time. So thank you, Jeff Mendel. We'll talk to you soon. Take care. That's Jeff Mendel from the OTC markets, a big friend of the show. I remember interviewing Jeff when it was kind of just, I think maybe I was only doing it. We used to sit over there on a round table there, and we had him
still have that table.
Come through, yeah, and that was a lot of fun. So Jeff's been doing this show for 6-7 years probably, however long it's been going on for. So, all right, that's a good one, man. It is now, I don't know, Joe starts something with us here, and he's like, wow, you now we're going 30 seconds over. I mean, I'm going to.
We just gave you 5.
There's 5 minutes, Joe, so you are welcome, my guy. The people want the Bro Show, and it's on right now. So see you guys at 2 p.m.
My goodness.
Wow, hop, pop. Punch that, punch that.
Boom! Greetings and salutations, beautiful people.